I used to wear those.
It's all right.
You are now rocking the Patio PolitiCz.
What it do? We outside, y'all. We outside of the
Hey,
patio.
what up, y'all?
We up in this joint.
Good
Outside
morning,
of-
good afternoon, good evening.
Yeah.
Wherever you may be, at whatever time you watching, welcome to the patio. We outside and we
whatever part of
inside
it.
At the
Mac.
same damn time.
At the same time, 'cause
All
that's
right.
what we do. That's
Can
what
figure
we
that.
do.
What
if
it
you will.
does.
The family is here, you know what I'm saying? Shout outs to J5TH, you know what I'm saying? Shout outs to
Ow.
Jazz in the back.
Hey.
Patio. We here for another
Imp.
episode.
Shout out to Imp
sir.
outside in the world.
Yes. We got a topic to talk about, y'all.
We got a serious topic to talk about today. And
I'm-
y'all forgive me in advance if I get a little hot. I was born hot, but sometimes things like this make me hotter.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best to make sure that I execute this in passion.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say forgive me in advance if I'm a little indifferent, y'all. You might get trouble T. You might get
You know
Tyrese.
what? We calling trouble tea outside. We need tea here, not trouble tea.
If we asking all for forgiveness, then I might as well jump in too and say forgive me.
Mac, remember
for being,
you are an arm's length. I can reach out and touch you, you know?
Forgive me for being comedic relief. Like, this is a serious topic, but you know, I'm
is.
gonna do my best to stay within the lines. But when the question comes about, I gotta ask what's on my mind. So
I mean,
know,
that's fair. That's what we do right here,
yeah,
right?
y'all know how I ride it is.
Patio,
You know
that's
what I'm
what it
saying?
is.
I get a little reckless sometimes, a little ruthless
All right,
at the
man.
mouth.
I think you
I got
forgot
this fire
somebody in the back.
I got this fire extinguisher in the back for you, motherfucker. Just in case. All right.
Y'all know K is the one always poised, y'all.
There it is. There it is. Y'all better watch the ones that be quiet, though. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Man.
Hey, y'all, but look, we got this heavy topic coming, and we're going to bring it, and we're going to introduce it to y'all. Should we introduce it to them now or right when we come back?
Now let's
Well,
do it
when we come back, man.
Yeah.
When we come back, yeah.
Hey, so look, stay a while. We got something for y'all. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
We hope you stay a while, cause it's right for life. Trying to be part of your life. We got whatever you like. Come on and just give us a try, yeah. Cause it's right for life. Trying to be part of your life. We got whatever you like, yeah. Come on and just give us a try, yeah. I said it's right for life. Come in with the shows that you like. We trying to be the best on the mic. DJ playing cuts that you like, yeah. It could be the start of your day, or maybe just the end of your night. But if you rock it with us, Patio PolitiCz is gonna do you right. Oh, cause it's right for life. Trying to be part of your life, yeah. We got whatever you like. Come on and just give us a try, yeah. Cause it's right for life. Trying to be part of your life. We got whatever you like. Come on and just give us a try, yeah. We hope you stay a while.
We do hope you stay a while because even though we got a heavy topic, if you don't, what's going to happen,
I don't
Shonda?
think we should say that today.
Because I was about to go there. I was about
Walk
to go
down on
there.
you. I said we're going to walk down on you.
There you go.
If you don't come
we
outside.
go walk
Man.
down
Gotta
on
be
you.
packing, man.
On somebody's
Packing and strapped.
Yeah, I just I want to go there so bad.
Don't do it. All right,
Oh
y'all.
man, you gonna go in for a burger and leave with some wings?
No.
I don't know.
It hurts. All right, so I
Deep
would
fried,
just like to
baby.
say, before we get started with this topic, here on the patio, we promote nothing less than love,
Always.
understanding, and evolution of individual,
Yes.
and the collective. Resolution is always at the forefront of everything that we discuss here. And with this being a sensitive topic, we want to send love out to all the families that are affected by this particular topic at hand.
Indeed.
With that being said,
Now, real
Yes.
spill.
right? That's fair. All right, so today we're going to talk about what just happened in Chicago not too long ago. Was a mother and her 14-year-old son in a restaurant getting food. An altercation or an argument ensues. Nobody really knows, or at least we haven't been able to hear exactly why the argument started, but it results in a man punching a woman multiple times with all the God-given strength that he had. and her 14-year-old son shooting him multiple times, which resulted in his demise. So the topic today is really, well, at least for me, it's about the idea of being able to protect yourself and what that looks like. Mac is a little, I don't know, we're going to see today.
No. I mean, like I was saying before the show started, like, black folks don't never take nothing serious. To a degree. And it led to me falling into that, you know what I'm saying? Just seeing all the jokes that came immediately on this topic. And it's just like, wow.
And what I said to Mac when he brought that up was, first, you want balance in all things, all places and spaces. So while it is something tragic going on, the balance of that is for people to be able to bring a little humor into the space. But also what I was saying to him was the comedic relief is something that's a part of black people's resilience in America. You know, with all the things that have transpired with us on this land, a number of them being out of our control, comedy has been a way that we have been able to just kind of ease through some things. So I'm not surprised to see the jokes, you know. And, God made jokes as we need them.
Yeah. The internet is something.
The internet is undefeated.
Always and forever.
Internet is a demon.
So, with that being said, the table's laid out. Where y'all want to start with this? How do y'all feel about this? What y'all thinking?
Me personally, I see both ends of the spectrum.
What's both ends? What's on both ends?
Oh boy.
I see both ends. So, for one, I think definitely putting your hands on a woman is definitely, a woman cannot overpower no man. I definitely
strong
think,
out here.
Yeah, for real. Like it getting physical like that, I think it's all grounds to protect yourself and defend yourself.
Okay.
And I'm a father, you know what I mean? And I got a son.
Yeah.
And I'm imagining like the type of ways that I want to raise my son. I want you to, like, as men, we protect. That's one of the things that we do. And I want you to have the power to protect yourself. Not only that, but protect who's ever around you. But realistically, the only thing you got to focus on is protecting himself. And when he get of age, of course, it's protecting your mom. You got to protect your mom, because that's exactly how we was raised up. Sometimes, depending on the environment that you in, what protecting looks like, it may look different in another environment. When you coming from a place like Chicago and we come from LA. So out here, you know, it is some gunplay involved. So the type of things that I got to teach my son in order to survive in this world, it might be similar to those settings now. Does it come to those times to where you got to take somebody's life? That's a whole nother conversation, because a lot of things don't grant for that automatically. But you know, what happened, you know, and I think it was definitely a realistic response. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And he had a right. And we talk about passion of crime.
Yeah.
Like, definitely, I think it was so much passion in that moment to where you didn't even get a chance to think. All you did was get a chance to react and think about the music that we exposed to, the world that we exposed to. And this is a 14-year-old young man. You know what I mean?
Honor roll student.
Man, come on. So
out here in his books.
Come on. And when mama say something,
boy, you move.
And that's law. You know what I mean? Like, it's bigger than the president, it's bigger than the teacher, you know, so that's heavy. Now, they meaning that he definitely had a right on that end. Now, looking on the other end of the spectrum, to where understanding the emotions that's hiding. Yes, as men, we should be the grounding root, but everybody, they don't have that. Everybody don't have that foundation to be able to tap into that inner world to where they're able to flush out everything that's coming towards them. Now, who's going to protect us? Now, the men, right? Who's going to protect us from the women? As men, we protect women, but who's going to protect us from the women? When the women
I'll protect you,
because we don't have no context as to what happened before the video that was shown.
We don't have any context,
so we don't know how the argument started, what it was over, who started it. Like, we don't have none of that.
Right.
But does that matter in the grand scheme of that man punching that lady
to
like
where
that?
everything got to? Yes and no.
To what we saw.
So
I'm just saying,
hold on.
it could have been some prevention.
Yeah, a lot of steps of prevention was missed, and that's what I'm getting at.
I'm sure there could have been some prevention.
So look, I put it this way too. I've never seen a dude who has, you know, is in his right mind or has two cents of common sense to hit a woman like that, unless he didn't been badgered or she didn't already attacked him or done something. At that point, at just words, Yeah, I can't say that I feel sorry. I don't feel sorry. You know, we don't want to celebrate no one's loss of life. But I'm like, at the end of the day, it's kind of like you played your game, and you didn't expect to get smoked in the end.
My granny said
you hit that woman because you thought that you was gonna have the entire upper hand. So it's like, yeah, I do agree with even those others who say, you know, well, he ran out and he got shot. And I was like, yeah, I was looking at it at first like, he got shot in the back, so that's an execution. But at the same time, he could have been going to get a weapon as well. But for somebody who's not in their right mind, you know, I'll just say this. I think that, like you said, a lot of preventative measures could have been taken to where he could have just been like, man, fuck this.
On both ends.
Even if he would have just cussed at her, that would have been better than
if I have something to say, I'm gonna say it.
Maybe she said it already and she just kept saying the same thing over and over and over. Well, you know what?
That's a possibility, because on occasions as women, we will repeat.
Yeah, and it's just like, all right, you nagging me. You might want to shut up, and that's on my, like, you know. And she took him there. She could have. She
took him there.
They took each other there.
She didn't hit him.
But see, she did not. That's only a leg, because we don't know.
In order to not get hit,
no.
Now,
hey, look.
Don't even try to serve it.
No,
you was about to try to serve it. No, here it is. So first, well, for me, I'm sorry.
Nah, go ahead.
All right.
I was only gonna.
Swing
I was gonna finish off saying was
back.
that you know, to go off on her the way that he did was like he was getting into a fight with another dude. Over
No. Or he was getting into a fight with another woman, seemingly something that he's possibly done before.
Right, like a trigger.
Arguing with women and girl, I'm gonna hit you.
But I'm talking about like as the aggressor. I'm saying like I haven't seen a dude with 2 licks of sense who did something like that when he wasn't like being provoked already, and then people just saw him when he snapped.
Yeah. Nah.
And I'm like, that wasn't the case here. I'm like, okay, this dude literally. You took the aggression to her. Like, you could have went outside and cooled off. Your food would have still been safe.
And in my opinion, that was not a real man that was in this situation. In my opinion, other folks may feel different.
Not hell no.
You know.
Yeah.
But I just really like to have seen some context as to what started all of this.
Listen, I'm gonna bang that too, right? Like, yeah, you feel me? Like the ultimate truth, yes. But I also take in, you know, what about his truth?
What was his truth? That he was
part.
Irritated because that lady didn't do what he told her to do, which was shut up.
And behind the irritation, you know, what is
other
that?
Things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
So,
underneath the surface.
That's what I was getting at. First of all, when I saw the video, I know that's not the first time that man has hit a woman.
Yeah, not at all.
I feel 100% comfortable saying
he probably had 3 more fights that same day.
He could have, or somebody at home that he be beating.
He probably just used to doing that shit. Yeah,
he's used to hitting women. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Hurt people.
Hurt people. The other thing is, I'm looking at the situation and people like, well, she should have just shut up. Here's the thing.
It's the last measure.
That is something, and I'm gonna hit both sides of it, because everybody still has personal responsibility and accountability at all times. However, in addition to, when we're talking about the dynamic between just your everyday man and woman, a lot of time, everybody tell women to be quiet. That across the board, it's always be quiet. And because we're in a society right now, even though thank the Most High is slowly shifting, where people don't show women any respect in the ways that need to be, where it needs to be.
He could have asked her nicely.
He could, they both could have let it go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They both could have just let it go. But the reality is, we do live in a world, and I'm saying this as a woman, where you run into men who feel like what I say is what the fuck I say, and do that right now. And that's the energy that he was giving her. He hit that lady
with a
not
threat
because of what she
it.
was saying, but because she didn't shut up when he told her to shut up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So on the other side of it, as women, I recognize that we have to be consciously present enough to be able to detect when you are getting into an unsafe situation. The energy that he was giving her showed her that he was
unstable.
It was an unstable situation. So she could have just backed off. You know what I'm saying?
And she got her son with her.
But she knew she
Mac,
knew what she had to defend herself, which is why she probably
knows where
did
she's
not
at.
But at the same time,
now I was going to speak to what you said.
The biggest thing is prevention. It's like, though I know I can protect myself, I don't want it to have to get to that point.
However, though, because getting to what you said too, even in us looking at his side of the story too, I believe also, even for the men out there that do feel that way, you got to be willing also to allow what happened to you potentially, because if you believe that you can just threaten somebody,
maybe it has.
No, but I'm saying though, like the way that people who are opposing her are reacting to this is as though like, I won't say that dude was some kind of figure we should look up to for what he did. And I'm like, well, for one, I just know that if you're gonna try to fight somebody and you lose the fight, then you can't be mad.
Yeah, you gotta be ready.
Yeah. You bring a knife to a gunfight and you get smoked, you gotta be willing to deal with the L's.
My granny said, once you start the game, you can't tell somebody how to play.
Exactly.
Everything's fair game. And that's why I said, what did that man think was gonna happen when he started punching on that lady?
Pure dominance.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm saying you gotta be willing to, okay, she got you smoked. You know, I'm sorry.
And it wasn't like you didn't hear her tell her son, go get the gun.
Well, what did she tell? Because I heard that there was text messages.
So
there was send them back.
Right. When I read what I read said there were texts, but when I saw the video, I thought I heard her say it to him. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Either way, this is my stance on it. And I didn't even hear anything about her son shooting at him outside until you said it to you when we came in. So I had to like kind of, scramble to like look it up and read it. And they said that he started shooting, dude ran outside. He kept shooting.
Shot him in the back.
Right. And he shot him in the back. I feel like that's fair, because in a space where me and or my mother's life is in danger, I don't know what you're going to do. You already as a man pummeled my mom. Mm-hmm. Headshots, you know what I'm saying? Like with all the might you had in you. So everything is a possibility at this point. I don't know if you running to get your car and run it into the restaurant. I don't know if you run into your car to get your thing to return fire. Yeah. So my job is to end this. Mm-hmm. And if that was my mama, I'd have shot bro too.
And without thinking about all of that, as I explained earlier, it was just, I didn't see that far deep into it to be able to accept it on that level, because I'm like, okay, in working in security, you restrain to, you defend yourself to restrain. Right. Basically. And I'm like, okay, the first shot should have been the restraint. It should have been all over, but I didn't see the others about him going outside or whatever. Yeah. It could have been anything, like you said.
I mean, the reality is, if I would have popped, looking at that man and the energy that he had. Yeah. Her son shot a couple times and he didn't get dude then. Yeah. Dude was coming for her son.
Yeah, it was one or two things. It's like, we got to get out of here or we got to finish this.
Yeah. And in the heat of the moment, he couldn't have known if he shot him. Like the way bullet holes go through the body and the way that the body respond. I'm just saying, like, ain't no telling him everything. It was like, it was coming back like that. Like,
Well, I just think that, sorry to cut you off there, but the main thing to get at in terms of what you're saying, Mac, about restraint versus like the intent there is, at first I was like, yeah, he shot him in the back. That's kind of like, that's a whole separate incident. But now I'm thinking to myself too, like you said, like the threat ain't over.
The threat's not over.
And at the end of the day, the escalation ultimately came from him. So it's like, that's the start of the game, like you said. And that's what I'm saying, that like, regardless of which side that you stand on, whether you believe, ultimately you hitting a woman and going off on her like that per se, you can't also want sympathy from the world because you didn't come prepared, and she did.
Because suppose he survived. Like,
well, hold on. Let's save that, Mac. Let's go to commercial real quick, and we gonna come back. Afterwards. Shut up. Nobody ate the food, Mac. It was cold. We'll be right back, y'all. The Patio PolitiCz one time.
I wonder if they closed the restaurant.
Hey.
Dr. King, he was love. Malcolm X, he was love. Love in this business will get you killed. You have to set an example. You have to draw a line. When they see that line, and if they cross it, there will be hell to pay. They must know that.
tienes?
With the Patio PolitiCz.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the patio. We are here with a very sensitive yet serious topic.
Mm-hmm. Are you not a psychopath at that point, though? Like,
what do you mean?
Being able to function after life, like,
no,
killing somebody and then just moving within that space because you can't exit that.
But it don't always resonate.
I wouldn't say you a psychopath.
That doesn't make you psychopathic.
I was about to say, like, that's the other part. I feel like that the situation, it didn't have to get to that point. Like, the meaning that if it was handled the way that, you know, we ideally say that it should have been handled, because it was more of an internal war with the individuals more than anything. But like now to seeing what the lady then left her son with. And I'm sure that if she would have even thought that far ahead in that moment, but honestly, in that heat of the moment, you can't. Like,
listen,
it's not that.
But we don't know that, though.
Yeah, it's so much that we don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say,
real stuff,
what we
stuff.
don't know is the type of dialogue and or training she's given her son with her having the legal weapon, which is, people are they don't like to hear this, but
she had a license.
But
I'm going to say, I am an advocate of teaching the children how to use weapons properly and having that dialogue. You know what I'm saying? So who's to say that she hasn't had that dialogue with her son for him to be able to know and understand, like, when you got this in your hand, somebody's life is at risk. You know what I'm saying?
No, real spill. Like, the possibilities is limitless on that.
For sure.
But I'm just saying, like, on the possibilities of what if it didn't have to go that way if maybe these things were in place. So I'm just saying, like, teaching young men hand-to-hand combat. In a moment like that where hands was thrown up, he would have probably had more confidence to throw his hands up to do X,
if
Y,
that's
and Z.
what she told him.
But see,
so
the
let me
thing
ask
with that
y'all.
is, I was gonna say, I mean, the thing with that is, especially where they at in Chicago and just where I'm from, or
the
areas
possibilities.
like LA. I mean, like, it's then gotten to the point now where nobody wants to take a life. Yeah, but you don't know. They didn't know that he wasn't strapped.
Right, you don't know who got it and who don't.
You know.
Now I was gonna ask y'all though, realistically speaking, you're 14. You're 14. This dude is giving your mom all the energy and the punch that he could give her. Are you gonna fight that dude?
It depends on the environment you come from. I would say, like, I can see for the average 14-year-old, it's probably gonna be like, nah, this is a grown man.
Yeah, I'm just about to knock this dude out. And if it wasn't a gun, it was gonna be a brick. It was, you know what I'm saying? It was gonna be something.
Right.
You know?
Right.
The unfortunate part, for at least for me, is trauma. You know what I'm saying? And the idea of what that looks like. Even if she's had conversations with her son, even if he's had the training and all of that, that's still gonna play in his mind and in hers.
Yeah, for
you know what I'm saying? For a very long time. You know what I mean? I mean, don't sound like she had a son that was necessarily out in the streets. Sound like he, you know, in his books and stuff like that. So, my prayer is that she will get her and her son some psychological assistance, you know, moving forward, just to be able to
move forward
in a healthy way, because at the end of the day, he's going to be hearing both sides, you know, what both sides of the world is saying. You know, his mom wrong. Oh no, he going to be getting props from his friends. Niggas going to want to take pictures.
Half and half from his friends.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Right. So all of those things are now,
which could lead to other situations
very quickly. You know, somebody want to try him because they want to see what he gonna, you know.
And then Chicago's a whole different type of energy.
Yeah.
Not saying that we lacking on the West, but
it's similar to ours.
Okay,
they just a little more out of control over there in Chicago, because ain't nobody over there, at least not from what I've seen and what I've heard.
That's Gotham City.
Right. They ain't really playing the politics game well over there. It's just every man for himself.
Like out here.
I mean, but at least out here, sometimes you got like the old heads, they gonna come together, kind of try to navigate sometimes. But Chicago, it seemed like
now it's like the bridge and the gap. Like, I feel like in all gang culture, it's the older heads against the young heads.
Yeah.
So where that gap right there, it has widened. There's no more bridges. You know what I mean? It's like there's more walls and hoods. And out there, they the same too, because they got like what the GDs and the disciples, and then out here, like, you know how we got the end hoods, like 40s to the 100s.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they GDs, and that's how they disciples is where they big. But
that's my hope. I mean, my family has been the victim of gun violence, you know, so I'm not unfamiliar to the loss of a loved one, you know, due to guns. Mm-hmm. But I'ma still stand firm and say that I would have done the same thing.
Now, the charges
were dropped. The charges were dropped
without no explanation.
Well, I mean, I think
from what I saw.
Yeah. Well, so what I saw, just at least a few tidbits. What I saw and what I think happened. This is my theory on it. I think that it wasn't gonna be a solid case because, like we said earlier, you don't know what that dude was running outside to do. The energy that he brought said that he was willing. He was in it to win it. You know what I'm saying? So all they had to do, which I did see, was somebody on the internet found a picture of him. It might have been like an AK or something in his hand. So boom, you can't say he ain't never had a gun. So now that means the probability that he was running to his car to get one is there.
It's now available.
Okay.
So when I take this to court, and I'm trying and I'm defending my client and her son, I'm gonna say, this is not a theory. I have proof that he at least at some point was in possession of a weapon.
Yeah.
And I don't know, from what he showed us there, we don't know.
Easy life or death situation against an aggressor.
Yeah, against an aggressor.
I was gonna say,
because they have the video that shows she wasn't yelling. Mm-hmm. She was talking, even though he asked her to shut up or whatever. He was the aggressor the whole time. Right. So I don't think that they would have had too much to stand on.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they're in a state where she's legally able to carry her gun.
Right. Well, she had the gun legally too.
Right.
And we don't know if he had priors to meaning that, like, for the decision making in the court case. Like, if he had a violent criminal history, that would have been like, okay, he this type of individual.
I mean, but
here.
you know how the atmosphere is once things take place, and it's just like, well, we want to know why still. You know what I'm saying? People tapping in a little bit too heavy, more than they should or whatever. Want to know the tea, as they say.
You got a question over there?
Yes, I do. So what do we do about the people who was recording it?
What do we do? What do we do about the people that was recording? I was going to say that
for the next quarter.
Could it really been prevented?
Yeah,
yes.
Like, you're here recording and you see this person getting punched.
Yes.
Right.
Why are you not intervening?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where we from?
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't gonna go down like that.
Like,
so what her question is,
the people who records
accountable. So her question is, what do we do about the people that were recording the situation? When do we hold the people who were recording accountable? And I think that that's a fair question, because at least I know it was one black man that was.
They all knew
space.
that it was about to go down.
Right.
Which is why the recordings took place.
When he punched her,
before
people started running.
Except for the person that was. I mean, well, I don't know. I wasn't there, but.
Well, in the recording, you saw people move away.
But not go nowhere because they still want to. Is that the same? Is that the same thing as us joking about it after the fact? It's just like we've gotten so accustomed to these type of things happening and taking place. You know what I'm saying? And shout outs to Hassan Hayes. That episode dropped earlier. But Hood News, like that's what he was all about or whatever, was capturing everything on video. And now we all feel comfortable enough to make sure that. But it was for different scenarios. You know what I'm saying? Against the police and things of that nature. But now it's just like we getting everything. I think
that's the culture that we live in today.
I wanted to say too, like, I know that a lot of people tend to have an issue with a person recording, but a lot of times that's the helpful evidence that you need. So you can't necessarily always get mad at the person recording, because that evidence also helped to show,
like, it brought
what happened. I mean,
community awareness.
Just a little bit.
Now,
but
I feel like this.
Though Okay.
No, go ahead.
I was saying, like, though, yes, highly agreed, but I feel like that opens up a different conversations to the responsibilities that we should have within our community.
Exactly.
And I feel like
because you don't hear nobody intervening on the video, like, hey y'all, hey, let's chill out, let's relax.
Right. Like, how many times does that truthfully happen? I feel like it's certain individuals who are able to tap inside of themselves and really be mediators to really jump into somebody else's problems.
Yeah, because a lot of fear is there as well. It's just
exactly.
like, I don't
like in the black community,
I don't want to be.
I don't want to be getting into it. And we see these people, they like, I think one of the dudes in the video looked like he was like of age. You know what I mean? To where it's like, he probably would have been like, this youngster right here would have did. Well, we don't know what was going through somebody's head. And not saying that's a reason to take the coward way out because this is a lady right here. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying that to say that.
Man, protect black women.
Man, not for sure, but I feel like the protection could have went both ways to where we could have mediated that whole situation. It could have been mediated.
I mean, and usually the cooks are the ones first, like, hey, not in here.
Them dudes was in the back shaking their fries. They was not paying no.
That's like, here we go again. This shit
again. To me, that speaks to what's taking place in our communities on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? Because for the fact that the cooks was in the back
still moving
around, you know what I'm saying? At least in LA, they will be like, hey, take that outside, you know what I'm saying? Don't do that in here.
I done seen squabbles in burger stands.
Yeah.
It ain't over till it's over.
Tell it right.
They gone.
But them dudes is like, you know, moving around. They was completely ignoring what was happening right there in front of their face.
You know what I'm saying? They behind the bulletproof, I'm hoping, the bulletproof
I mean, it didn't look like it was no glass right there. Like, it was pretty open to me.
The video was kind of fog, so, you know, I thought it was glass there.
But what I will say is this. I think that what this does show is the gaps in teaching in our community and what that should look like for everybody, not just men, not just women, but for everybody, because I'm in agreement that this could have been prevented. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else in the space could have been like, hold on, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? Just take a second.
But he probably would have gave them the same energy. You shut the fuck up too before.
So that's what I was going to say. I was going to get to that. So what I was about to say was,
I didn't see
I think that in black communities, with all the things that we have experienced since being on this land, unfortunately, I feel like a lot of us live in more fear every day than courage and or bravery. And so I think that what would have helped this situation was for those people that were in the space to have not already been in a certain state of fear, because then they would have intervened. I feel very comfortable, and I'm
yourself in. I'm
grateful.
Space.
I'm finna say,
yeah.
I'm grateful. First off, I'm grateful to be able to say that I am surrounded by men in my family and in my extended family and community that would have interjected. You know what I'm saying? But I also know that I'm surrounded by a different breed of black men today. You know, if I was in that situation and watching that escalate like that, this is something that I love that I seen in Senegal when I was there. They let the women attend to the women and the men attend to the men. So while in our community, sometimes you will have women that will go for the dude, I would have went for the lady. You know what I'm saying? And I would have just kind of put her to the side like, you know what, sis, like, it ain't even that serious. You know what I'm saying? Talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times in situations like this, like we saying, we don't know dude backstory. We don't know her backstory either. She could have been a woman as, you know, people then held her voice. Held her voice, and now she's just in the energy of exercising, saying whatever she had to say. And sometimes it's just about people getting off what they gotta say. So I would have pulled sis like, just talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude right here, that's a whole lot of energy. It's a whole lot of shit going on. But to be honest, I don't think that alone would have stopped the situation, because the energy that he had towards the woman,
he would have still been talking.
He would have still been going at it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It would have taken another man to interject the space and really be more
probably
dominant.
more than one.
Right. Yeah. Match his energy.
Either match his energy, but not right. Exactly.
Not in the destination he was headed.
Exactly. So I think that was the part. And we don't know who the people were. It could have been a whole room full of older, elderly people in there. We don't know, But all in all, like in our community, I feel like there's a lot more fear than courage. And it has to do with the stuff that happens in our community on a day-to-day basis.
That part.
So, and you saying that, because I've asked this question too in multiple spaces, and I don't often get a straight answer because it usually goes off the rails. But I hear the, protect all black women thing. So here's my thing.
Please.
We do that. Say we continue to do that to the extent that it's believed we should.
Yes.
So basically, now we're being told that we need to be a living sacrifice, because my thing is, I've been in situations before where someone, it wasn't an innocent situation like her, but it could be someone, who's either talking shit and whatnot.
Antagonizing a situation.
Now, whoever the original dude was that's actually like her dude, or whoever's related to her is trying to protect her, his boys jump in. They have no dog in the fight, but they protecting their homie. Mm-hmm. Somebody else innocently gets shot, or somebody else innocently gets stabbed. Is that the plight of what black men now have to come to in the name of protecting all black women?
I wouldn't.
Like that's the thing. Like I feel like you definitely got a great point, but that's the thing about language. Like sometimes when you're verbally talking to somebody, it goes one way, but sometimes to really get things to move,
you got to bring that energy.
You got to match the same energy. I mean that if it is violence, it is violence. And
but the point I'm making is, okay, cool. So, but I've seen that situation happen at events before.
I was about to say, right, like it would take a moment like what just took place to change our community, to where that now we see things like this and we see the possibilities that it can lead to. Maybe more men now, like I know a man like me seeing that video instantly, I already got that spirit to want to step up if I ever see somebody, a man or a woman.
Before it even gets to that energy.
Before it even gets to that point. But just saying that to say that now we might have more people who are more willing to step in and interfere when we see these things. But I feel like it takes those type of moments maybe to bring revolution.
So let me can I ask you a quick question?
Save the question. Let's take a break real quick and then we'll come back. Thank y'all for tapping into the patio.
I really want to know what it was about. Did he order the last chicken? Did she order the last chicken?
Shout out to the sponsors. We got the Legato collection out here. What you got over there, T?
We got a Rob Naylor.
We got Rob Naylor. No bad energy, y'all.
No bad energy.
Risque.
Risque with the Jewel.
We got the Creative
G-Lou show, y'all.
We'll be right back at the Patio PolitiCz show.
Queen Jean, Didi Hairston. Shout out to y'all.
Man.
A culmination of powerful properties that create balance and produce good energy. Cultivating a culture of mindfulness is a daily battle. We target your inner me. Physiological effects, change you can truly feel. Aesthetically pleasing on the surface, but handmade to help you heal, 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 heal.
You are now rocking with the Patio PolitiCz.
More footage always comes out later.
Welcome back to the Patio PolitiCz, y'all. You already know we're talking about a very sensitive topic, but right now we have started to expand on what we're talking about, and we're getting more so into the community conversation and what that looks like. So T, you had a question.
Okay, I just wanted to ask y'all's opinion on a situation that could have got similarly as deadly. Okay, so just quick story. Been outside of an event in Hollywood. It's like 1:00 in the morning before, right? You got this argument going off, but it's a whole lot of people I couldn't even really see. But it is a dude going against a girl. Now, there are other dudes in there stepping in. This dude pulls out a gun and starts firing, right?
The initial person that was a part of
Yeah. I'm like literally as close to him as like from here to like K.
Yes.
Nobody sees this until it's time. Now, in that instance, protecting the women, we all was just like pulling everybody away and kind of just putting ourselves in front. But the point I'm making is at the end of the day, whatever the dudes who are getting into it protecting the woman, somebody else in the crossfire gets shot, is that really what we're going towards? Like, is that the plight that we need to
So you're
to?
basically asking, how do you protect in a scenario in a room full of strangers when shots are being fired?
Am I supposed to be known as a hero of a community because I died for a black woman's safety?
Sometimes
It depends on your personal value.
What about my life? I too am somebody's son.
You are.
I highly agree, King brother.
I'm
But I'm saying, like, when it comes to war, like, you got certain people who on the front line, and you got certain people who the general, you got certain people who the medical.
You got to know who you are.
That just shows like when it comes to a situation, like, it depends on who you are in that room. Everybody's not built the same.
Exactly.
Everybody is not required to utilize the same tools in the situation.
Right.
To where I might be a person that's more of my brains or more of the mediator, and then you got somebody else who's more of the brute, who probably be,
ready
you know
to
what I
get in
mean?
it.
You know what I mean? Who might have that energy, like, if you say something, you're gonna get twisted. But I might be the person that be giving him some type of understanding.
Yeah, everybody
has
everybody
play their position.
Protect
but
within the lane of which you know you can protect in.
There you go.
Right. And no, King brother, our life is not that disposable to where we should make those decisions to where it's like, okay,
and I also say that to say too that I'm not saying that like for instance, you said in the same situation you would have stepped in, because my thing is kind of looking at who I'm dealing with. I mean, you never know who's strapped nowadays. But,
real stuff. But that's real.
Judging that, like, who I'm looking at, I'm just thinking back to like times I done been, being from Oakland, I done been at Raider games, I done been, and we used to take the BART, which is our subway system. So you walking through neighborhoods, and I'm like, that's where I expect to come across somebody who's likely strapped. So 9 times out of, like in that scenario, what the majority of us did is we just pulled everybody away, and we kind of put the women behind us and be like, hey, y'all get to the cars and whatnot. Like, we not
strength in numbers.
Yeah.
Of coming together.
Yeah. Now the girl who's cussing out the dude who has the gun and whatnot, I'm saying like, okay, now somebody else gets shot, and then, you know, oh man, he died in the name of protecting black women. That's how you protect all black women.
So she sees.
Does that bother you? That bothers you.
That dude who could have died innocently has no ties to her. He was just there at the right place at the wrong time.
But and
so many times
you wouldn't say that, because like Kay just said, everybody has a position to play. So that person could have been the person who their position was to be the step in. You know what I'm saying? Like, it happens. It's not to devalue anybody's life by any means.
Nothing is by mistake.
Exactly. Nothing's
Everything
by
is
mistake.
within plan.
So when it comes to situations like that, and I will say this, since we're talking about, because I don't want to gloss over the responsibility of women in those situations too. So, should I share that all the way? Okay. So I know a scenario where a lady called her family for help, and the result of that was one of her cousins dying. Right? What I've learned from that, and just in living life as a woman, is our responsibility is to utilize our absolute discernment and to not be controlled by our emotions, which is something that we have to learn. We have to teach in our communities as well, women and men, but I'm just talking to the women. And in being able to use your discernment, sometimes you have to just walk away, because it could result in something like what you're talking about. So for me, in my life, in all the places and spaces that I've been out of this country. I've been in different neighborhoods. I've been in different cities, different states.
Get out in the world, y'all.
When I've done that, I've never had a problem, well, with the exception of one time, where I felt like, let me go ahead and pick up the phone and make this call. Number one, because I know who I'm calling.
Yeah.
And when
that call go through,
I know when I make that call, the people that's coming or that's answering that phone, they not coming to ask no questions, and you know what I'm saying? None of those things. And so as women, we have that responsibility. We have to think past
the phone
ourselves and into the whole. But that's the plight of being a woman, period. You know what I'm saying? It's thinking past yourself and into your family and the community around you. And so I usually because it don't take nothing from me to hear a dude talking and getting all big and rah-rah and all of that for me to be like, nigga.
Value your power.
You know what I'm saying? And I dismiss it.
Don't even give it attention.
Yeah. You know, everybody doesn't have the emotional intelligence to be able to do that, or the restraint to do that, because they feel like they're losing something, you know what I'm saying, by doing that. And that's why a lot of times I have conversations with women and I'm telling them, you give your power away when you engage with somebody's trying to get you to, you know what I'm saying, get all rah-rah with them. I was just telling my elders last night in our sweat, as a fire sign with all this masculine energy in my chart, and, you know, me being birthed under these stars and all this stuff, like, I recognize my responsibility with that fire is to be able to know when and where to execute it. And having the warrior spirit means that I have to be responsible with that spirit. So that means that I have to recognize that this warrior energy is not meant for y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's meant for war. And then I have to decipher between when it's really war and when it's some bullshit that's just going on. That was just some bullshit that was going on. That man brought his war to the local burger spot. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so on the women's end, that's our responsibility, is to be able to discern in the situation, is it serious enough for me to make that phone call or to send that text message, because it could result in somebody losing their life.
On both ends.
On both ends. Yeah. On both ends. Or just random bystanders that's catching the footage. You know what I'm saying? You never know. I had a situation when I was in college, and the dude was aggressive, but more verbally aggressive than anything else. And I had to gauge how far I wanted to go with it. And I felt like, let me just show this nigga, you know what I'm saying? Because he is just
too much.
It's just too much.
A lot of it is triggering. A lot of it is triggering.
You know what I'm saying? And he like, I don't care. I don't give a who your family is. Wooty blah blah blah. How my homegirls run up on you. I'm like, first of all, send your homegirls. Please send your homegirls. But because he kept going, and I'm not just saying this just, you know, to make myself sound good, but I really wasn't engaging. Like, I wasn't arguing back and forth with this dude.
Even with that, you got some dudes that'll be like, yeah, that's what I thought.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Call me out your name.
Yeah, they gonna keep poking at it. So I just had to make a phone call to my cousin, like, do you know this nigga? You know what I'm saying? And let the men handle that. Now, that's the other thing that I feel women need to do better, is allow men to handle situations that have to do with men. We attempt to engage men like men, and the reality is that's not sustainable.
And a man step to another man, and he's gonna get some sense that he didn't get in front of you.
Exactly.
That's for sure. His tone and everything, he's gonna be less emotional.
Yeah.
And that's what I was more so getting at in that scenario too, because I know that's not the same as this one that happened in Chicago. I'm only saying that, like, in that scenario, if you have already chosen to engage, then you have started it as well too, because you don't know this dude, and then you can't then look at it like, well, he shouldn't be this way. It's like, well, you might have just come across the crazy one, you know, like say the dude in Chicago, you know, had been strapped first,
right?
You know, and it's like, well, damn, you know, other men could step in, but at the same time, like,
life in danger too.
Well, because my thing is, even as men, we have to pick our battles. Like, there's more of a low level threat of violence amongst us as well too. Like in that scenario that I told y'all about that happened in Hollywood, what's registering in my mind is, I ain't got no heat. This guy's already strapped, and I don't have a reason to shoot nobody neither. But I'm just saying, I've seen numerous times where you see somebody pull out a weapon, fire twice in the air, and then they just doing this.
Yeah,
it's a crowd of people. So in that instance, the only thing that registers to me is get everybody away. Whereas some will be like, well, you should have manned up and went and fought him. And
no,
you got something that's like,
first of all, that was smart. If I ain't got no thing and this dude got the thing, I'm not gonna. What am I engaging him for? With my hands?
I ain't bringing no attention.
Well, a lot of people don't think about like what split second decisions you're making in that moment.
Yes,
that's because those people was not born and raised in the hood.
Unthoughtful people.
I just had a conversation with my elder yesterday, and she was talking about her growing up in I think Pomona, they had like the fair and all that kind of stuff, and she was like, I went to the fair with my husband, and she like, I just knew something was gonna happen at the fair. It was Dollar Day at the fair. They didn't have no metal detectors at the fair.
That's
you know what I'm saying? She like, all the cholos is out. And she like, I knew something was gonna happen at the fair. She said, what I know to do is when you hear gunfire, you duck and get out the way. She said, because I ain't no witness to nothing. I'm getting out the way.
When bullets is fly, don't run.
Facts.
You don't run.
Because you don't know where they landed.
No.
Now, in some cases, if you know it's a wall, you can get on, move, but duck down.
Yeah,
just
please.
duck
That's
down.
the best bet.
Because you could be running to a bullet that's coming right back down. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So every situation, the discernment is the key.
Even with the shooting at joint over Juneteenth in Lemur Park, right?
Oh yeah.
Did they shoot there?
So
because some people were saying
I
that
had a couple friends in the middle of it, and that was right there when it happened. They said shots was fired. But
right, but
anybody was being shot at. So somebody just being stupid, probably.
I think it's probably no funk though.
Nah.
I mean, that's where all them people was on top of Pizza Hut and shit, right?
And then the other joint, I forget what state it was in, but they was just in the club or whatever, and shots started getting fired or whatever. I think it was somewhere in Atlanta, maybe, perhaps.
Busting in the club?
Yeah.
That happened a couple of times out there.
Yeah.
They were
and the people that was video, they was just like all down, like they in here tripping, like.
What you gonna do when bullets fly? And you don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
You don't run, you get down.
Like
and
some
out the way.
some people got up and start walking. You hear bullets popping off again. Pop, pop. It's like,
you don't know where they at.
That's my only thing too when it comes to us, because I'm like, even for us, when bullets start flying, like you didn't duck down so quick, you ain't gonna look to see where it's coming from.
For certain people, it's a natural energy.
You ain't gonna see that fast.
But I'm saying it always happens that quick.
For certain people, it's a natural energy and reaction to just split the scene.
That's their fight or flight.
Yeah. Because it's just like, fuck that. Like, it's just an immediate, like, this is how I protect myself. My feet is beaten. I'm out of here or whatever. But those of us that's been in the atmosphere more times than we necessarily would have liked, you operate different.
You definitely operate
way different. Because it's just like, hey,
senses.
Man.
Nobody's trying to see who's shooting. I don't give a
shit about who's shooting. I know I'm not the one shooting.
Exactly.
Who I'm with ain't the one shooting. So fuck, hey, we chilling until
I'm still minding my business.
Also, let me ask you this then, Matt, because as a security guard, you're trained to handle situations. So with that mentality, I'm only getting at you could be a security guard, hell, you could be an ex-Marine, but if you don't know where the shots are coming from or what the hell is even going on, your first initial reaction has to be assess what the hell is going on and to understand how to engage, right?
With assessing. And that's when discernment comes in, because within working in security, you got to read everybody's energy at the door. Outside of the door.
There you go.
Before they get inside, to just know something ain't right about you. Right?
Yeah.
Then you put a body on them, or you check them at the door to make sure that energy is what you thought it was, and you stop them from coming in.
So I love that you said that, because I saw a clip not too long ago of it was a basketball game, I think, and the security, I guess they was having like some protesters or something, some group of people was trying to disrupt the game and shit. So the security guard saw a lady, he recognized her. He let her get all the way to her seat. He was like a seat away from her. Mm-hmm. Just like you said, like you said, put a body on her, right? Mm-hmm. Just low key sitting there. And as soon as she jumped,
I know what you're talking about.
The one seat that separated her from the court, dude just like boom, like tackled her and everything. So
he was on his job.
And you don't put a random body on that person either. You put the most experienced body that you know is gonna be able to fill into that situation, to blend in, but also be on his P's and Q's to know what's about to transpire and when. It's all about reading. Because I've been doing security for so long, I've never really been in a situation where it's gotten that violent or that dangerous. Yeah, you got to break up a couple of fights and everything, because sometimes you just don't see certain things in a crowded space. But more times out of none, like nah, I'm catching that way. All
right, so look, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna talk more resolution.
Okay.
That's right. At the patio, we all about resolution. Yeah. So family, stick with us. We're going to come back. We're going to talk resolution right here on the Patio PolitiCz. Mm-hmm.
You are now rocking with the Patio PolitiCz.
Patio PolitiCz, and we outside.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We talking resolution, y'all.
Man,
right? A very unfortunate situation
Yeah.
that took place. Lives changed forever. You know, community rocked for sure. We want to close this out, this segment, on some resolution because I think that that's important. I think everybody has some very valid points, you know, given that we don't have any background on either side of the story.
We don't have full context.
We don't have full context. I'm going to still say, even without full context, I don't care if she started the argument. Punch the lady. But anyway, whatever. I am just going to say, for me, resolution from the women's standpoint is, ladies, use your discernment. Even if you got gorillas that you can flex, every situation don't cause for you to need to flex those gorillas.
Mm-hmm.
You have to think past yourself in the moment into the possibilities of what'll take place if and when you decide to flex those gorillas. Sometimes we are in absolutely dangerous situations and we have to reach for what we have to reach for. But I think it's a great practice for us as women to begin to utilize our discernment and allow ourselves to control our own emotions versus our emotions controlling us, because we do want to be protected out here in the world. There are people out here in the world who really don't care, man or woman, they coming at you. And so in those situations, you do want to feel like you have people around you that will help protect you. But in that same respect, you have to think as you engage with people. And when you see that it's really not worth it, like whatever they was arguing about, it really wasn't worth it. Nobody was getting their money stolen. Nobody was getting their food robbed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just a back and forth argument about something that really amounted to nothing, especially when you look at what it cost. It cost somebody their life. It cost trauma, in a community, in a family, and all of that. And so, as a resolution where women are concerned, ladies, it's important that we utilize that discernment. Yeah, sometimes we gonna want to kind of buck back up at this dude because he talking real reckless, and sometimes, like a lot, you can tell when a dude just talking reckless, he just running his mouth so you could get yours off and it ain't really gonna be nothing. And then you can tell when
he looking to get off a little bit more.
Click away from, psychopathic behavior, you know what I'm saying? And you can tell, you have to be present. We have to learn. I think that's the other thing. People are not present in the moments. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're present in the moment, you can feel the energy and you can feel when it's just not right. Even
some people get lost in that, though.
I was going to say, even when your emotions are high, and that's the thing. That's why that emotional regulation is important, because I can be in a very intense situation, but if I can regulate my emotions internally, then I can navigate the energy around me properly. And ladies, that's something that you innately, the Most High gave you. You don't have to think twice about it or try. All you have to do is just stop for a second and take a breath. And I think if mom would have, at the very least, took a breath. I say all the time, one breath can save a life. If she would have taken a breath, she would have had a moment to read that dude and tell that he was not all the way in a space where something crazy wasn't going to happen. We have to do that, ladies, because we do want to be protected, but we don't want our men to feel like, I don't fucking know this lady. I'm not going to put my life in jeopardy, right off the back over an argument. It's not worth it. Yeah. I'm not arguing with this dude. I don't give a fuck what he's talking about. I'm not weak because I stopped engaging with him. I'm more powerful because I stopped engaging with him and I let him just look like a fool. Now, real quick, I do think that even if that lady had stopped talking, he still would have engaged.
Yeah, he still would have.
You know what I'm saying?
He still would have.
But again, you got to read the room and read the energy, ladies. So be present, Remember that nobody can take anything from you. Words are just words, period. Words are just words. I don't care if he called you a bag of fat bitches. It's just words, especially when you look at the possibility of what can take place from you getting emotionally triggered behind the words. If we as women take responsibility for that part, then I think we'll put ourselves in a better position to be covered by our men, because they'll know she only calls when it's something really serious going on.
That's out of her control.
That's out of her control. And she really feels like she's in danger. No crying wolf, ladies, because it will cost somebody something.
Every time. Because if it doesn't take place then, it will take place and transpire later, because, you know what I'm saying, most people don't let that shit go.
Right.
Especially if, like, I see you in the streets. I see you all the time. Like, word.
Right.
You're going to have to catch that action.
Right.
You know what
What's your resolution, Mac?
Simple. My melanin queens and kings. We got to recognize that, first of all, we are not each other's enemy.
Ooh, say that.
We are not each other's enemy. We do not need to be getting at each other that actively. Learn how to communicate better with ourselves first, and with other people second and third and fourth and fifth and sixthly. I like the sixthly.
Sixthly?
Yeah. Because once we do that, a lot of things change. And a lot of things don't happen. We don't have situations like this for the masses to entertain, because it's people out of our pigmentation that's looking at this and saying, hey,
look at them monkeys play.
Here they go again. So I would just say, really like to keep it short and sweet. Learn to communicate better. Learn to respect each other and love each other more than what everybody else is loving each other. Love yourself, because you start there. That's the root of everything. That's the root of everything. I might have said it, and I know I've said it on a lot of different episodes, but we could have somebody here that's viewing us for the first time. So I'm saying every chance I get, go to the mirror. Don't be scared to accept your own faults. Don't be scared to work on those faults. Don't be scared to become a better you within the space that you're in, to be a better you for everybody else that is surrounding you. That's all I got.
All right, Mac.
Yeah. I fuck around a lot, but I be having them something. You know,
you do.
It's
whenever
balance.
you ain't Mac attacking. You know? Well, we didn't get trouble tea today. We appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the situation entirely logically, not even just how I feel off of the community. I think for starters, going into a lot of the personal development we read on, is if our community starts off with something that we have as a centralized goal, which is honor. One thing I've always said numerous times, I'm like, the one thing the Black community lacks that touches over every issue we have is we lack a sense of honor. When you honor something, there are certain measures you won't go to in general. So you have to have a sense of honor. And then going back to what you said of us not being each other's enemy, when the men honor the women and the women honor the men, I look back at previous generations of when men checked men and women checked women as well, ladies. Y'all don't like to hear that.
Respectfully.
But checking each other, like, why you do that man like that? And then fellas also, hey, let me pull you to the side, bro. And you're going to take this ass whooping because of what you did. So there has to be a sense of honor to begin with. You know, unfortunately, where we're at right now, the point I gave about, you know, us potentially having to give a life for someone that we were unrelated to in that situation, it may or may not happen. I hate that it has to get there. We always do have to be prepared for the worst. So I can't fault her now after doing more looking into what we know for sure. I look at situations now as in people in those situations, if they weren't facilitating violence, then they did the best they could.
Right.
You know, there's no telling what anybody would have done were they in her shoes, and everybody has 1,000,001 opinions afterwards.
Yep.
So logically, you can say, well, she was licensed to carry, so she should have knew to do this.
Thank God she had her son.
You know, but I mean, like, the thing that goes back to honor for me is, okay, we just picking up some food here. It ain't like you was at the bank, you know, robbing me of my rent money, or not even that matters more, but, you know, just something that like when you look back at it and it's like, wow, this really meant nothing.
Yeah.
And now it's like, dude, you did all that to die over a couple hot dogs, you know, because you couldn't
die for a glizzy.
Because somebody in front of you was whatever. We don't know. But it goes back to if we set first honor as a goal,
yes,
it may not encompass all people, because you're always gonna have what they call them, the Pookies and the Ray Rays. You're always gonna have those guys like him out there.
Yes,
you cannot prevent that. Like that's in every community. That's everywhere in the world. You're going to have some rogues, but the thing is, if the general consensus is moving towards this, then it goes back to that Ra's al Ghul philosophy I talked about on a different episode. You know, like, no, you're going to be exiled. And not that we can't feel for you losing your life, but look, bro, you took it there and you didn't anticipate that you underestimated your opponent. I have no problem with that, you know, because if he would have lived, then
what?
It wouldn't have been over.
It wouldn't have been over.
It would not have been over. No, it would not have.
You know,
especially with it blowing up on social media. Oh, I've been embarrassed now. Oh, somebody gotta go.
Well, let's say he lived with how many times he got shot and he was incapacitated.
Somebody gotta go still. However I could get the job done, it's getting done. It's either gonna be them or I'm sending somebody, and not me personally, but just thinking in that mindset, I'm sending somebody to that establishment every day to start airing out. Like, people like that is wild.
What you got on the resolution, Kay?
Y'all said it for the most part. Just to veg you back off of what y'all been saying. I think definitely as a man, I think that anytime we met with heightened emotions, I think that's the opportunity for us to be an example, opportunity for us to teach, because we do have the power to be the grounding force. And sometimes it's hard to do it in the midst, but that means that we have to walk away. And sometimes our thoughts are louder than the outside thoughts. And I think we got to learn how to get to that place to where we can silence our thoughts. And so many times as a man that I've been met with a woman saying that, I won't say so many times, I can count on my hand, where a woman was saying that she was going to go get somebody. Don't do that, because don't do that out here no more, ladies. Because what you're doing is you either setting that man up for two things. You either setting him up for jail or to be put in a potential violent situation. And if you have the ability to go back to get him, then it's already over with.
Yeah.
It's already over with. Like, to where like some situations or whatever, they're already done and they already completed. But some people, they edge them on longer because of ego. Man, if things is dead, just dead it right there, y'all, at the source.
It's like you signed.
We don't like Christians and what they stand for, so our purpose is simple. Go to every church and eliminate the real Christians. Or in other words, eliminate people that love the Lord. So we won't be long. Truly believe in God. Truly believe in Jesus Christ. Know that He's real and are willing to die for Him as He did you. Stand to your feet right now.
We are
family.
back. We are back
at it again.
We told y'all we was gonna give you a part 2, and it's about to go somewhere where you probably ain't gonna be comfortable with.
We are back at the patio. We inside and outside.
Yes,
we
sir.
just added our boy, the loved one, to the table.
Oh, yeah.
Jay Fitz in
Yes,
the
sir.
building. I
Yes,
can reach
sir.
out and touch you,
Yes.
honey. I just
I was riding the line with the bullshit about to come all the way through, so now I got a tag team partner.
man.
We're gonna be in here mixing it up just a little bit. I feel a little bit more comfortable now to let my jokes fly.
Oh, is that what it is? You needed backup. You needed the backup.
I needed my accountability.
You ain't a standalone kind of dude, I guess.
You got to cut this shit down, man. This shit hard.
Wait. Yeah.
Cut down a little more, man.
That's already spoken for. You know that.
Well, it shouldn't be played.
You know
Cut
that.
that motherfucker down, man. That shit sound tight. Shout out to Too Smooth. Yes, sir.
Shout out.
Let's ride.
Man.
Let's ride.
So we here on the patio. We got the family out. Part 2, like we said, on this very touchy, sensitive topic. Again, we gonna start it out by saying we send in love.
Yes.
Always.
And peace to all that were involved, all that are affected. We're sending blessings to those families.
Yes,
we
sir.
do not promote violence here
Not at all.
at the patio. In fact, we are all about resolution, about love and elevation. And so this dialogue is simply to be able to break down some of the things that are happening in our community and find resolutions that we can actively apply.
Yes.
So that we don't have to see this again.
Yes.
Right?
Right on.
Yeah.
Only necessary violence.
Yes. And hold our people accountable.
And hold people accountable.
Yes. Our
And teach
people.
you how to be accountable within yourself and utilize your discernment in every way possible.
Yes.
We
and
out
establish
here.
a sense of honor.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Oh, we just gonna jump right into this.
We're gonna jump right into that.
Y'all getting a part 2. I mean, should we hit the intro or should we just jump right into it?
We gotta always
we
hit
jump
the
right in. No, we ain't gonna hit the intro. We in.
Oh my goodness. I guess it was just serious then, y'all. We jumping right on in. We don't have no pool sound.
Yeah, nah, not at all. But we touched on a little bit of everything, but it's such a sensitive topic that I feel like there's so much more to get into, especially just off of the things that I left y'all with, you know, as we gotta look into ourselves, you know what I'm saying, love ourselves better, love one another better, have better communication, hold each other accountable, because we already got enough out here in this world that we're against. You know what I'm saying? We can't be riding on each other every day, being against each other,
right,
along with everything else. So I feel like that's how we really get to resolution. I mean, it take a lot for people to want to figure themselves out and want to, you know, address those issues. And
it takes courage.
Yeah, have enough courage to accept those flaws and want to work on them. You know what I'm saying? It takes a whole lot. But please, I beg of thee, whatever you have to do to be able to get yourself into that space, do that.
All right, so I'm gonna just jump in by saying what I said before we go. We brought it back around. Respectfully, I'm laying you down.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And I say that just because there's a threat in play. And with that type of situation, you've already shown me there's no boundaries to what you're willing to execute in this space as the person who's aggravating this situation. So I feel like you're gonna have to stop it. I don't know what dude's going outside to do. He just finished punching out my mom. Everything's on the table as a possibility of what he's willing to do. So I gotta stop him.
I mean, I got a pause in me. Cause if I give him one, like I said, if I give him one to restrain the situation, I see him go outside, I'm not going to start firing immediately until I see what his next action.
Why would I do that?
Well, I mean, when you talking about you live by the gun, you die by the gun. Of course, if you shoot somebody, you're not going to give them time to go get another gun. But
what if he's just retreating though?
I wouldn't know.
But at that point, like if he's the aggressor. And
if you're gonna shoot somebody, I mean, it's life or death at that situation. Now you have to
put him down.
You have to put him down. I mean, my stance on it. This I don't know if y'all brought this up, but I feel this is me.
Yes.
A woman took the life of 2 men.
Yes.
Why is it her?
Because she didn't shut up.
Listen.
Boy,
we had a that too. He does have a point, but we had a conversation about, is a woman's mouth just as bad as a man's fist?
As abusive or violent.
As abusive violence. Now we only seen a clip of what transpired in middle towards the ending of the altercation. So we don't know what was said being led up to it, as if this man just came in and he tripping on some fried chicken piece, or you cut me in line. We seen the tail end, and he was already giving her prompts. If you wop wop wop, so he was already triggered by something that was said. You get what I'm saying? Now, Shanga, you being a woman or done. Now do y'all have the power to say something calm that can make a man want to wring y'all neck calmly?
Do we have the power to say something calm that'll make a man want to?
Yes, without.
Yeah. But that's what I brought up in the first part of this. I said that woman actually wasn't yelling or anything. She was just talking, and he was upset that she didn't do what he told her to do, which was to shut up. And I think that's really what it didn't seem like what she was saying was really what was really pissing him off. It was the fact that he was telling her to do something and she wasn't listening.
Now let me ask y'all in retrospect, what if it was a police that did that? Would the hit would have been put on him, on the officer, the off-duty officer, or an armed officer to go get the gun and kill this officer for punching me in the face? Because we can say that hand in hand. What's the difference between I'm in the backseat of my car and seeing an officer frisk my mom and touch her, she's still mouthing him off, and he give her 2 to the face?
Yeah, shoot that nigga too.
But how?
If I got the pistol.
Yeah, but facing the same charges.
But you know what? That case is not getting dropped,
actually,
though.
so it's interesting that you.
But would you be a hero though?
That case not
That's
getting
what I'm saying. Nah,
they're calling
in jail.
For the people,
charges.
you would be. For the people, you would be. But what I brought up before was the idea of fear in our community and how that, in my opinion, played a role in this whole scenario too.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about the people that were recording and their lack of intervention that could have saved everybody. You know what I'm saying? And what I was saying was, in our community, there's an underlining energy of fear, and people are not executing courage. That
bitches. Bitches. Because you call the guy in the club who ain't gonna. You called him a bitch, so let's call it for what it is. That's bitch made shit. Cause we got to start holding these people accountable who hold these cameras.
Yeah.
We do.
Like I was saying, like you sitting there with the camera like this, you didn't hear nobody like, hey man, hey, word.
Right,
I mean, that could have at least
people...
been that as along with it.
Right.
I've yet to see a man punch another man for coming to calmly, because it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
Right.
To calm a situation down. And I feel a man who was a real man in that place could have diffused that whole situation.
Very much
so. It would have took some strong energy. Like, that's what we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
Meaning that he had to match his energy.
But with a different
bring him down.
Different, yeah, for sure.
Different perspective, yeah.
For sure. And I believe he could have, or he could have had the woman just, man, please.
And so I brought that up too. And what I said was, what I would love to see, and it's something that I saw executed very easily and very well in Senegal.
Mm-hmm.
The women attend to the women, the men attend to the men.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a part of the conversation before, I was saying to the women, we do want to feel like we are safe out in the world, and we do want to feel like we have people that will protect us.
Mm-hmm.
But our responsibility is to also control our emotions, utilize our discernment, and not call your gorilla if you don't need to call your gorilla.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you do have to take into account not only yourself, but your extended community around you. Because like I said before, and I'm grateful, I'm gonna say it again, I am surrounded by, within my family and in my extended community, men that I know if I called and said I'm in danger, they pulling up. And they pulling up and they not asking no questions.
Yeah.
So that means my responsibility for myself and for people that I love is to make sure that I am utilizing my discernment in all situations. And if it's a situation where I can tell this, first of all, it's over nothing, I don't even need to continue to engage. Because even if that was me in the situation and I didn't have a son and that dude punched me up, what's happening is a phone call. And after that phone call, it's still all bad. So the responsibility of us as women is to remember that we have a responsibility to the collective in order for us to make sure that we have people that'll keep us safe. She could have diffused the situation and just stopped talking, but she didn't, because people are not present enough to read the energy of what's going on. Energy before a person dies, the energy in a space shifts.
So does that justify her mouth?
No. What I'm saying is the reason why her mouth kept running was because she wasn't present enough to detect that this energy was off.
And why though? Because she was in her what?
In her emotions. Yeah.
As he was too.
Right. And so what we were saying was like, since we don't have background on story on either one, I was saying like, on the one hand, I know that ain't the first time that dude didn't hit a lady.
Nah.
Listen, no way. No way.
I said he had like 3 or 4 fights earlier.
Let me tell you why I say that. This is just me respectfully. Let me tell you why I said that. Because a dude that man wasn't all the way out of control of his emotions.
Not true.
You know what I'm saying?
Not taken away, but is it worth it? But is it a punch in the face? Is that worth him losing his life when he could have got his ass beat though?
I agree, but who was gonna beat his ass?
Do that?
I think that's what it came down to.
It depends. I done seen a 15-year-old touch up a 30-year-old.
Yeah.
But at the
fresh
point,
out of jail.
But the thing I said too is, even though the kid pulled the gun on him, they in that situation didn't know that he wasn't strapped.
Yeah,
and he could have had somebody outside, or he could have had. I mean, at that point, they don't know all of what else he could have brung if he would have lived.
Now, but let's identify how. Oh, go ahead.
I'm not about to say, keep in mind that we in Chicago. Mind you, we like out here, so we know in a sense that niggas ain't fighting. We ain't even thinking of that. We ain't even thinking of like that, you know, in a way to where that even if we do get in with somebody, they might get mad and they might go in and get hit. So I'm just saying that to say that in the moment he threw that punch,
that was a wrap.
You done put your life on the line.
That
at
was
that point.
fair game.
That's all I was saying.
Once you start the game,
you put your life on the line.
You can't tell nobody how to play.
Because you don't know who's responsible for her. You don't know.
Right.
Like, you got repercussions.
And he did it because he didn't think that his opponent could come back with deadly force the way that they did.
I don't think, and it's that too. But I think too, let's identify the situation and the problem. Let's dissect this, y'all. Single mom. Why is she single? You think
was she a single mom?
Let me finish.
Let me single mom.
Let me finish my. Was she in there with a man who was with her son?
Nah.
Was his dad in there?
Nah.
No. Now I agree with Shanga. I know that's not the first time he done struck a woman, and I'm not advocating to strike a woman. And I know that that's not her first time getting flipsy at the mouth with a grown ass man.
Yeah.
Comfortability.
What do you consider flipsy at the mouth?
Not controlling your emotions and saying something to a grown man that's triggering to him.
But how would I know what's triggering?
You know what's triggering. You know what's triggering.
No.
Listen, I'm going to say this because we know to wipe ourselves after we number 2, right?
Yes.
We know to brush our teeth in the morning.
Hold on. I'm not taking away from that. However, I'm gonna say you don't know what's triggering to a person.
You don't? If you're talking to a grown man like you talk to your 14-year-old son?
Listen, but in the video, just from the clip that we saw, what was triggering that she was saying?
She wasn't happened all
see the beginning.
We only got the part that we got.
Yeah.
We did. So we're all kind of rolling the dice on, you know what I'm saying, what happened.
That's why I gave you the other example.
Went both ways. But what I was saying just from the clip was she wasn't aggressive. She wasn't raising her voice. She was just running her mouth. She was just talking.
Are y'all though, when a man is at that peak of his anger, still talking?
So that's why I said, as women are
fuck you. That's why I fucked your cousin. That's why I fucked your brother while you was in the pen.
Goddamn right.
What bitch? Now the video cut off. What bitch say that again? Well, you heard what I said. What bitch say it again? I'm gonna hit you. I said what I said. You bing, bing, bing. Now this dude.
Right.
But we don't. The video didn't catch what was said to trigger this man.
All I'm saying is, and I made sure to touch on both sides because we all stated both parties on top of the community that was in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Should have definitely
for sure.
That was why we started.
You know what I'm saying? And so what I said to the ladies was, let's say her background was that she used to her voice being snuffed out. She don't never get to say what she want to say. So she's now in the energy of, I'm gonna get off what I gotta say. You still have to use your discernment. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what'll trigger you.
But
you know
people,
what I'm saying?
But people in the midst of their emotions, discernment is out the gate because it's
right.
Now they,
so that's what we talked about.
Yeah.
And it clearly discernment was off on both parties because he thought that he was going, like, what did you think was going to happen when you punched that lady?
Yeah.
You just thought you was just going to punch her up and that was
and that's
my
to her
thing,
credit that I gave.
Let me tell y'all this. It had to be something that triggered him.
Yeah, it had to be.
That all the other men didn't want to intervene in to say, hey, bro, you came in here tripping. You on one whoop-dee-wop-wop.
Yeah, we didn't get that.
And that was why when we started off the other one, I was like, okay, I'm going to go off of what we do know.
Right.
Because there's a lot of other alleged points that we could go from.
Yeah.
So in the first time 5, I offered this up as well, too, because I see all over social media and the news and what everybody's eating up. And you said protect all black women at all costs, right? We hear that all the time.
Yeah. What about our men though?
Yeah, and he asked.
No. We went into that, and then I gave a quick story about a situation I dealt with before. Hollywood, 1:00 in the morning. outside of a place after an event just let out, girl getting into it with a dude pulls out some heat, starts firing into the air. It's a crowd of people around. And I said, okay, in the scenario where that girl who you want us to all now protect, let's say we're friends of her boyfriend or dude who's gonna protect her. Well, now by default, being his boys, we gonna jump in and help him. Now somebody who's completely unrelated to her gets hit, stabbed, dies. He has no dog in that fight. He's just simply, because we're supposed to protect black women, now he's shot. Now he's dead.
Plus, is that his goddamn hand?
Is that how we're supposed to? Is that the honor? Is that what we're really striving for?
Well, I believe when we stop singling it out, we should protect all black men. We should protect. If we just protect each other. Before it get to the parking lot, it's gonna already be defeated.
But that's why I mentioned.
So let's take a break real quick. I like that we ending on that part. Let's protect everybody. And by protecting everybody, it's going to start with self-accountability. Yes. Thank you for tapping into the patio. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this.
You are now rocking with
sir.
the Patio
Welcome back
PolitiCz.
to the patio. Y'all already know the topic is sensitive, but it's necessary to be had in this space. We left off by saying, protect everybody. Everybody protect everybody. Cover all the angles.
And by protecting, by protecting everybody. So short while ago, earlier on in my life, when I was training to become a firefighter, one of the things they talked about always is your job is actually to practice more prevention than reactivism.
Yeah.
So we were always practicing, how we could have reacted differently and whatnot, rather than prevention. Prevention is that protection, more so than I'm getting at, because that's why I'm saying, like, okay, well, if your friend's friend gets shot in the means of protecting you, you don't even know that person's last name, and now they've had to go down with, for your sake, and it's like, hey, that's how we protect our women and whatnot. What?
She don't like that quotation.
No, but I'm saying I've been in other spaces where, like, there's been other people been like, well, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what a man is meant for. And I'm like, so you're telling me that more of us need to lose our lives.
But who's saying this is what a man? Listen, we gonna kill it.
They said men protect and provide.
I can't. Me personally, listen to a woman tell me what a man is. If your father's not in your life, you don't have a dick between your legs, and you're single. You can't tell me what a man is, ladies. You can't tell me what a real man is. Because if I ask you and I sit and say, well, you tell me what a man is. We gotta be stable. He gotta have a job. He gotta have a car. No, you telling me monetary things that's not gonna qualify you to get to.
You want them to give
nothing that's gonna take care of your safety.
You want them to give more interpersonal description about what a man is, not the exterior things.
Explain to me the value of
obtained or lost.
Not shit that can't grant you your salvation into the Most High with Him. So, because I feel you saying a stable man, he may be a coward in a situation like that with a dude at the bus stop who's on his way to go get a job, or the local dude that you think is a gangbanger. He may be the one to step up and be like, nah, homie, woo, 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 woo. That's a man to me.
Let me add on to that even, because what I'm even getting at with that is a sense that is the sentiment that I've heard many times on this topic. And my thing is this: okay, so let's say we even do that. Now those dudes have to continue to lose their lives, but how much are you doing to practice prevention? Again, going back to, controlling your mouth, controlling your emotions before it even gets to that point.
Don't tell me control my mouth. I'm triggered when you say that.
And that's what I'm saying. I think it's that too. It's not what we say, it's how we say
connotations.
You get what I'm saying?
Connotations. Finding the right word.
And listen, I said that because I know that really is like a trigger for women. Control your mouth, because that's typically what
for sisters.
Yes, for black women. Control your mouth, girl. You know what I'm saying?
Can't be put in your place.
In reality, what should be said is way more than control your mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's really more so about the emotion behind the mouth that's moving.
True.
And again, ladies, that's our responsibility to be accountable for our emotions and us dictating how we move when we are feeling emotional.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important that we stay present in every moment. It doesn't mean that you're weak to recognize that a situation is going to go left if you keep engaging.
Yeah.
It's stronger and more powerful for you as a woman to retrieve your energy and move on than for you to try to combat a man in a situation where at the end of the day, if you got punched, if it was the right punch, it's laying you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the reality. And
might do more than that.
It might do more than that, you know, and we have to be responsible for that.
Exactly. And no man should be putting his hands
at all.
On. And I'm saying that from experience, because I know. So unless y'all was choking and deep, I'm speaking from experience, and it all ties down to emotion and not being in control of your emotions.
Yeah.
Regardless of what a woman says and how she says it, we shouldn't be putting our hands on them.
And ladies, that don't mean you get to just run ragged with your mouth. You need to be able to
as men of any capacity, we ain't never gonna win no argument or no back and forth with no woman. Period. No. So fellas, do not attempt. Do not try. Let her get that last word and go. Yeah, huh?
What if you got the facts and you hitting her with them?
Shit, they gonna hit us with bigger facts.
You see, emotional like the battle ain't even about the logical side.
Yeah,
it's a whole nother battle.
The women carry the grenade in that argument.
I was gonna say, ladies, we are going to win the argument, but he's going to win with the punch, the physical part of it. So you have to find the spaces and places when it's plausible, when it's pliable, and when it's not. And in our community, because there's so many people battered one way or the other, everybody is fighting for their own dominance in a situation. And we're getting taught that the only way to exercise your independence or your power in a space is to keep going at it. And that's not true. Active prevention, like T said, is what you really need in the space.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, although again, I'ma still stand on mine and saying, hey, the way it went, and I would have done the same thing. If I were a woman in the community standing in that space, my intervention would have been towards the lady. And I would have just said to her, like, hold on, sis, like, this nigga's tripping. Come over here and talk to me.
You would have said that in front of him?
Yes.
Then you would have been punched out victim number 2.
So that's why I said, and so what I said to them was, I don't even think if somebody stopped, if she would have stopped her mouth, I don't think he would have stopped.
He would have got met with two people.
He was was in the energy. He was in it. That dude picked his punch up off the floor.
It was something that was something said that was just
I think it was just the lady running her mouth. I don't think again, we don't know.
Seen.
From what was seen. That's why I said I'm only going off.
You don't hit nobody with that much power, y'all. As I'm telling you,
that was the first thing I said.
It wasn't that much power.
No, I'm exactly, but I'm speaking from somebody who's put his hand on a woman.
Yes,
you gotta have hate in your heart.
Right.
She ate like
and
3
something
of those.
has to be said that triggered him to pull that out.
It could have been just her talking.
Because he could have been triggered before he got
something
there.
else.
For somebody,
he said say something else, and that's what I'm saying. She wasn't. The part of the clip we saw, that lady wasn't saying anything that would probably naturally trigger a man. She was just running her mouth.
That could have been his natural energy, though.
But we don't know. We get in the middle to the ending of the game.
But I think it's fair to say that woman wasn't high in her energy before the video started recording, because you can it's not hard, it's not easy for you to turn that.
He was up here.
He was there, but where was she at?
Maybe I'm saying maybe before that.
She could have been being passive
aggressive.
Because y'all know black women.
She was the bouncy
And
pad.
if I'm high in my energy and I'm arguing with you and I'm being combative with you and aggressive, it's not turning down to what she had.
But
I feel like it's plausible to say that was her energy.
But when you're used to doing that, you can control that that energy within the space to deliver.
I know some women.
I know some women. I
know some women that would have got hit
in her energy
and start fighting, and then the son would have jumped in
for sure
and all that. But
for sure.
But to get hit twice like that, go get him. You just took your 14-year-old. It's a baby we talking about, people.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a hero. He was a fucking victim. Now he's gonna do life in prison.
Nah, they dropped the charges.
Listen, let me tell you.
He's gonna do life.
Let me tell y'all something about the other colored people.
I know.
Okay?
So that's we supposed to bring that to the table here.
We're gonna pray a good case of them, but yeah.
They like to find their ways.
They're gonna find their ways, and if it's not, it's other people that feel the sentiments of maybe me. That's like, hey man,
they gonna tax him
because this dude. Okay, are we counting out the fact that this man may have children?
Nope.
He may be somebody's brother.
For sure.
Okay. But nobody's talking about that because they seen what they seen.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
For sure.
Now again, the victim is this dude because you live by the gun, die by the gun. You may got dismissed. But understand something, buddy, karma is gonna come. Yeah. No matter how we may try to view it. So you took this man's life. You took somebody's son, you took somebody's brother, you took somebody's uncle, you took somebody. There's somebody that loved this man.
For sure.
Regardless of his anger issues or not. And you just took them away because your mom and gave the hit. So even if it ain't the boy, it's gonna be the mom.
It's never
somebody
over.
Gotta. It's boomerang.
So what was supposed to happen in the situation? Let's just say that she didn't have no gun. Would you be saying that still with that lady taking multiple punches from a man in the head?
Nah, he should go to jail for what he did.
Yeah. And if he would have had enough,
we are the only people that really crucify our people for shit. Is just like, no. I mean, again, we didn't see what she said, but I feel if you're gonna beat me up with your mouth, then you're saying, okay, I'm ready for whatever else comes with it.
But we didn't see her beat him up with her mouth.
And that's why it's unfair that man lost his life and we don't know the whole story.
I don't.
You don't what?
I don't think that it's unfair.
And you're entitled to that. Yeah. I do though, because I feel whether two punches or not, he shouldn't have lost his life.
Like it wasn't that serious.
It wasn't. No.
Yeah. But listen.
Well, Five. Let me.
Now this is the part that bothers me.
Overall, it's not that serious. But if mom's in that situation, I'm being realistic. Like if mom's in that situation,
I was gonna say,
I'm getting out the car. Will I respond in that way? As a 14-year-old, and all of the facts is still the same, maybe so. But
the part that bothers me is that y'all are saying it wasn't that serious for him to lose his life. What you're saying is it wasn't him punching on a lady wasn't that serious.
No. The situation itself.
But
what started the situation?
Off of a punch, a life versus a physical like wound, comparing the two.
She could have lost her life from a punch to the head.
She could have. Blunt force trauma.
Black women are responsible.
You understand what I'm saying?
For sure that.
Sisters are more responsible for the deaths of black men than they believe.
Oh, I agree.
Almost more than the KKK.
No, I ain't gonna.
And that's fact. That's factual. You know how many sisters?
Show me the data on that.
We ain't gonna have data on how many gangs.
I don't want you to put that on.
The motivation though. I ain't gonna lie. Like a lot of the beasts,
not more than the KKK.
Yes, y'all have the power. Y'all done tore down kingdoms with y'all mouths.
Power.
I didn't. Man, numerous situations in the streets when we hear about why things start and why they begin.
Yeah, it started behind a dude and some vagina.
No, not the dude. It started because of a woman's mouth.
Yeah.
Because she done got flipsy with this blood over here, and he's saying something. Guess what?
I get what you're saying though, because two wrongs don't make it right. Because he also agreed.
Fuck that,
to do that too, right?
That. No, come on, let's be real,
brother.
Let's be real.
I done had females come to me and try to get me in a situation, but I know better. To where that's what I'm saying. Like it takes a man in that situation to be able to be like, I know better to get into this situation.
You different. I'm talking about the average soul.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm talking about the average gangbanger who just going off. This my sister. This whoopty wop.
Yeah, I'm pulling up
because of her mouth. She done got 50 plus niggas killed in the street.
That was
riding for each other.
That was the reason behind the incident that I gave when I said, I'm like, okay, so now this girl gets into it with this dude that starts firing. Luckily, from what I know, he ain't hit nobody. But I'm saying that like, jumping in,
that's different. But you talking about club stuff?
No. But the point I'm making is that somebody else loses their life because of her running off at the mouth. Somebody who has no dog in the situation.
I don't see that happening in
Y'all
that capacity.
want to make this a whole.
I mean, it's everybody's fault.
I want to make sure that we keep it fair across the board and say everybody.
It's everybody's fault.
It is, but I'm gonna say what other people are afraid and not gonna say because it's just real. Because this is happening on TikTok and all social media. But you got women doing this in households.
Yeah. Where it ain't being
Where y'all
seen.
gonna stop? So you tell me a way to tell our sisters, watch your fucking mouth, and I'm gonna watch my anger.
You want us to protect you, but you tearing us down.
Thank you.
Before we even get the opportunity to protect you. I told you I come with him when I need to.
And to be all fair, he shouldn't have put his hands on her.
Right. He shouldn't.
Period. But and it's him. But I'm gonna say that what y'all should be crucifying the niggas who was in the grown men, the men that wasn't 14, watching and looking.
I agree.
We are all in a stage now.
From what we saw, nobody was like, "Yo."
It ain't just that, man.
No, they was just standing around.
It's our people that do more of this. We're the biggest news people on our own. On our own. I don't see no white people going by. Say if Garth Brooks was on crack or whatever, he in the middle of the street dancing, high induced off his drug.
Yeah.
I don't see no white person driving by filming.
Hey,
Garth. That's Garth. Hey, Garth. Laughing.
What you doing, Garth?
We do that shit to our own people. Delonte West. A sister coming out. Sister coming out of a 7-Eleven. This Delonte West. Oh, I thought that was you. You ain't gay to do money, praying over him, nothing, but you want to film him and then submit that shit to World Star.
To get clout. Young Jock driving Uber, too.
Like... But at least he doing something with himself.
Yeah.
But the fact that they tore him down for it.
We tear our own down more than anybody.
Man.
You get what I'm saying? We tear our own down more than anybody. Now, we all doing this, but okay, let me ask y'all. So what's the solution to this? Because clearly she's a single mom.
You don't know that.
I do, because that's how single moms act.
You don't know.
I do know that.
Mom.
I do know that because if she was in a relationship, she's gonna be with a man that's gonna teach her and show her how you need to navigate in public in Chicago when I'm not around you.
She gonna respect the value of a man even when he don't respect his own value.
Let's take a break and then let's come back to that because I would like to push back on that.
Oh, for sure.
Yes. All right, y'all. We're gonna take a break real quick. We'll be right back on the Patio Politics.
5, even when they have them, they don't listen.
Push me.
Welcome back, family, to the Patio Politics. We outside while we inside, touching on very touchy, sensitive topics, but it's
healthy though.
I'm gonna say it's
punching on topics.
Yeah.
Punching on topics.
No.
No, we not. See, Jesus, man.
Have mercy.
No.
All right. So before we went on break, Jay Fifth was saying this is a single mom. And that if he can tell she's a single mom, please make sure I get it correct. Because if she was not, there will be a man at her house teaching her how to navigate when she's out in the world and having encounters with men. And I said, that ain't true.
You don't think that's true?
Absolutely not.
I'm gonna give you an example, real quick example. So remember I told y'all a while back I had to de-escalate a situation in the parking lot of a grocery store. The woman was single and her son was probably his age or probably a little bit older. And she was about to get her son shot the fuck up because she kept running her mouth. It took a man to come have that energy and say, sweetheart, just get in the car, baby, please.
Yes.
For me.
Yes.
For me.
Yes.
Just get in the car. It was a different way I told her to watch her mouth.
Yeah.
Because she was heightening the situation.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell y'all, the son wasn't saying shit in that whole time.
Yeah.
He didn't say nothing. Nothing. She was doing all the talking.
Right.
And her son was about to get his ass lit up. And it just took that. And she said, okay. She got in the car.
And so what I'm saying is...
They did.
What I'm saying is there could be a man at her house.
That ain't worth shit.
not even that ain't worth shit.
Yes, he is. Why wouldn't he have the food joint with him?
Why is she out there with that energy?
Hold on. First of all, I'm just gonna say that it could have been a man at her house. He could have been working all night and he was asleep, and she was like, "Let me go get some food." So when he wake up, he'll have some food because I want to make sure that we don't know what time it was.
Let me go to the hot dog
I want to make sure that he have his favorite hot dog. For
so let me send her to the most dangerous hot dog spot in Chi-Town.
No,
let me not cook up a fresh home meal with what he deserves.
What I was saying was, you're talking about a particular energy type of man. You're talking about a man who is consciously aware of himself and the world around him, and he's moving in the space of masculine energy. We don't have a lot of men in the world that's doing that. You, and you would probably, if she was going out by herself and you felt like you had the type of woman where I need to tell you how to navigate, you're gonna do that. But your average dude that's sitting at the house playing his video game or doing his 9 to 5 and coming home or whatever, he's not thinking about that shit. And that's a part of what's missing in our community.
Y'all think is that our fault?
No, it's not. It's the fault.
When you make a man feel like you got everything under control.
No, stop. Stop.
They're out there.
No, stop.
They're out there.
Because
that's a whole different convo.
Yeah, that's a whole different conversation. Because hold on, no. Because a man moving in his proper masculine energy would not care about what I am presenting as in what I have done for myself and can do for myself. That man is still going to execute his masculine energy the way that he knows he embodies it. And I'm saying that from experience because I take care of myself. I got some degrees, I got businesses and all kind of stuff. But when I have encounters with men who are moving in their masculine energy properly, what I have or don't have do not phase them men. When they say to me, hold on, black woman, I don't like the way you talking to me. He don't care about none of the other stuff that I have going on. And there's an exchange that takes place there. What I'm saying is there are not enough men in general.
You shouldn't be still talking to no men like that, period, though.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. It's a whole lot more of them like that in the world than it is men who are actually walking and carrying the masculine energy that you're speaking of.
Yeah, we're a dying breed. You see what's going on in the world?
I'm going to say y'all are an upcoming breed. I'm going to say that y'all are upcoming because we've already been dealing with the other. Now we're having more men.
We have the example of that right here in this situation. Her son is the example of a man who's not going to sit around and let that happen.
Right.
And I'm just saying that to say he's a young man.
He could have passed the gun to his mom.
He don't have the tools. No, but he still don't have the emotional
it was
tools.
A split second.
And I say
even in court cases, right? It'll say that our ration to make decisions is not even the part of our brain that make decisions is not fully developed until we the age of 25.
Right.
So I'm just saying that. So that's why when they talk about charging people as juveniles and adults, the way even why up in their court case they use scientific things to to point out things. I'm just saying that to say that as a young man, like he has the spirit, you know what I mean?
He didn't move in his natural energy.
You know what I mean? But
or his tools because she gave the hit.
Yeah, she pulled him into it. He didn't move in his natural energy.
When mama say something, it's like
that's what I'm saying.
That's like it's like damn, mama said that.
Probably didn't
what mom is gonna tell her kid
to do something like that?
Kill a man.
Let me tell you what mom, because we talked about this before. I said I'm an advocate of teaching children how to use firearms properly. So what I was saying was this could have been something that she's already teaching her son just as a part of survival in the world, period. I don't think that young... I'm serious.
No.
What? Listen, and let me tell you why I said that. Because a kid who's not comfortable with a gun and hasn't had some type of talk or conversation is not going to run after that dude. They're gonna shoot out of fear real quick, and
you got to think about where he at though.
You saying
in Chicago?
That's why I'm saying the probability of him and his mother having conversations about firearms and all of that.
And it's a reason why she's a licensed firearm.
Probable.
It's a reason why. So she's got to be passing that knowledge.
She has taught her
if that's the case, why she didn't go in the store with the gun? If she's licensed,
real spill.
We're supposed to be back to we're in Chicago.
Do they have open carry?
I don't know.
I think
this might be a real spill though, because it's so many. But this might be a burger stand where they go to normally,
right?
Where the expectation
have no problem.
I'm thinking of a father, right? Now I get a call. My son just got locked up because his mom then told him to do that because I know her mouth.
Right.
Now she got to deal with me though, because you just sent our kid with some shit your bitch nigga at home waiting on his hot dog supposed to be doing. Where you do that?
That's possible.
It's very possible, and I think highly likely. And I can't wait for the facts to come out.
But the daddy to show up?
No, I'm saying he probably don't have a dad, but I'm speaking for fathers. If you're not with a mom and some shit like that happen, how would you take that?
That's what we was talking about. I was saying like me as a father, having a son, I'm teaching my son that we do protect. And now when it comes down to making the decision to take somebody's life in a moment, in the heat of the moment, and it's like,
come on, keep it silent,
K. You don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, as my son, he's 14 years old. I don't even think you have the right, you know what I mean, to make the decision to take somebody's life and do this. But I'm not going to put no gun in your hand in this moment. But when everything happens so quick, I'm going to teach you how to protect yourself. And if anything happen to any woman right here, you're going to be a protector, because that's how we was brought up.
For sure. You know? Most definitely.
So I would like to ask this question.
So me saying, I probably would have set my son up to be in a similar situation because of the environment that we live in. Unknowingly, because for anything there should never be a grounds to where a woman is not protected. Because we see too much of that. But then now that it happened, now it was overboard.
So let me ask y'all this.
Well, that's where me and him differentiate, because I appreciate he rolled for you, but if I know you ain't shit, listen.
Yeah, that part though.
Listen,
homie.
But that's just so
you done sent this 14-year-old who had a promising career and future in his life to some fucking wolves that's gonna eat him alive for his life.
He don't deserve it.
So listen,
he don't deserve. He a baby.
So it's easy to go that route, but let's just say that she's not an ain't shit mama.
You give your kid instead of listen.
My mama wouldn't have done that.
Mine wouldn't either.
She wouldn't have been like, "Go get the gun." She wouldn't have.
Your mom wouldn't have told you go get the gun.
I got shot.
Your mom would have said, "Hold on, let me go get it."
She would have probably squabbled the most.
Thank you.
And then like she already would have been like, we already would have been there.
Listen, I got shot because of some shit that happened to my mom, and she didn't tell me to go carry out this.
So that's what I was gonna ask you, because earlier y'all said it wasn't that serious for that man's life to have been taken. But now let's replace this sister with your mama, your mama, your mama, and your mama. And what you doing?
I'm fighting.
Yeah, like, and that ends, we talk about a lot of young men, they probably see him as a grown man. I'm just thinking in their minds, they'll probably be scared. But I know in our spirits, I fought my older brothers. Like, I know we probably get them hands handed to us. But in this situation, I'm about to restrain. We about to change
my era, you had courage whether you win, lose, or draw, as long as you stand on your two.
So that's what takes me back to the conversation of that underlining energy of fear that's in our community. Because let's say she is a single mom, right? There's a certain level of fear that she already embodies just being her in the world, and then her being in the world and having a son. We all grew up, I think, in this room where we got in our squabbles.
Yeah, definitely.
Everybody ain't really grew up like that. And so for those people, the way that they have to protect themselves are firearms. It's usually not even a knife. It's a firearm. You know what I'm saying? So whereas we would have squabbled, or our mamas would have squabbled, and he would have had a real fight on his hands, a person who didn't grow up in the places and spaces that we have and had those opportunities to get those squabbles in, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you getting shot.
I mean, the tools he
had. I wasn't taught to protect others. I was taught to protect myself.
You teach them, and see, it's people that was raised like Mac. But you teaching them how to shoot. But you can't,
because that's all you got.
That's all you got. But if he's in jail, then what? Then what we doing?
I get it.
He's getting his ass raped.
I get it
because he can't fight.
Right.
That part.
I get it. And I feel, you said she ain't single. Look, And listen, women, you got
she might be, she might not be. We don't know.
Man, you got a motherfucker living in your house, ladies, and you fucking them, and you got kids. He should be teaching your son and your daughter something. More than how to mooch off you. And if y'all not, shame on you, and you a deadbeat. You a fucking deadbeat.
That's why I said, how did he get there?
Shame on you for getting your woos off, and your kids ain't getting no lessons.
and a motherfucking nigga, and listen, these are niggas.
Yeah,
they're not advantageous to the growth of your house and your kids. They're not teaching your kids how to read. They picking them up from school, no conversation, ain't helping with no homework. They eating off all your money.
Riding in the car with you,
riding in the car, leaning your seat back. Nothing. Ain't giving you nothing. But bad dick. Sisters, it's more out there.
Remember toxic dick. Let's call it toxic.
Nah, it ain't TD. It ain't TD.
That's TD.
TD gonna help.
That's TD in a different way.
TD gonna help.
Nah, that's TD in a different way.
I'm TD.
That's toxic in the whole house.
I'm toxic, but I'm gonna help.
Toxic to the whole house.
I'm not though. I'm gonna come and bang, and I'm gonna play games with the kids, and I'm gonna help. That's why I'm saying it's TD, because I put her on the line. He ain't shit, but he a heartbreaker. But damn, he helped.
That means it's two different spectrums on the TD, because that dude is still TD.
I'm gonna fuck up your psyche, women. So it's like it's gonna be hard.
Now, Kay and Sandra, now y'all remember what I ended off, the part one was where I was talking about it has to come down to honor, where there has to be a set, almost like code or something, that we move by for that to be understood, for those men also to even, have something to strive towards.
You talking about just men?
Like being an example?
No, I'm talking about all of us. When we wrapped up the last one, because I was like, if we have honor, I said most all of our issues in the black community can be summed up to the fact that we don't have no honor or anything.
Yeah, that's true.
To honor something, I think it might be far fetched, but you think of like, all the Musketeers was like, we honor the next man is just as important as you, and the same thing is when you see the men start honoring the men, then the women also got to step up and be like, hey, you pull the sis aside and be like, hey, don't talk to a man like that, or don't know when to and when not to use
and I think we do have honor. I just think it's been lost in translation due to the distractions.
Agreed.
That's been going on. Agreed. But I do feel we have honor. It's just lost.
But I'm talking about,
we just got to navigate back to it.
A universal honor. Though, that like it don't matter. We not separating off of who's from what side of the town, or are you Afro Latino, or are you Afro whatever.
You mean honor amongst humans.
Yeah,
I would even say just in our community, just when you see other black people, it's like,
because I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. If that happened in a white spot, it wouldn't have happened, because them white men would have intervened and said something.
Right.
Everybody would have intervened, not just the white men. Everybody would.
Yeah. Right. Because we've seen that over and over again. Have mercy, we've seen it.
To where we got to get it to the point to where somebody will say something or even think twice about getting in a heated situation, because everybody around this motherfucker holding me accountable. If we can get to that place in our community, then that's when we doing that. But that's what we were saying on the end, is that by being that example.
Yeah, we don't know how to communicate.
And when I talk about that honor too, it's like I don't know for y'all in football, because I don't really play in official games, but I think like in basketball or any other game, when a certain situation arises and a certain play already kicks in your mind, or you see the man go in motion, you already know what audible you're switching to, or just I'm thinking in situations like that. If I'm three people back in line and I'm waiting for my hot dog, and it's another brother over there sitting down eating his, and it's like we see a situation arise, everybody automatically knows where to be in place. Or it's like, okay,
but you gotta be present in that. Hold on. Let's take a break real quick, and let's come back on that sense of honor, because that calls for you to be present in the moment. Everybody ain't present in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, we're gonna take a break here on the patio. Y'all make sure y'all come back, because clearly it's good out here.
A culmination of powerful properties that create balance and produce good energy. Cultivating a culture of mindfulness is a daily battle. We target your inner me. Physiological effects, change you can truly feel. Aesthetically pleasing on the surface, but handmade to help you heal.
Talk about being the president.
I was waiting for it.
I got so deep into my thought process.
I just said we just ended on be present, Matt. Be present, Matt.
See, you have been at hot dog stand eating
man, he's still putting the relish on his dog.
On the real, I'm so upset that the context of the video is all that we got, because a lot transpired before them cameras started rolling. If I was there, them cameras would have never started rolling, because I would have recognized what the situation was and diffused that shit as best as my ability.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if I recognized that he wasn't diffusing and I done did everything that I could have done, then, hey, let me bag this up for me, please.
No,
so
I just
after I've done everything that I could have.
You said something earlier that was key too, but I slightly disagree about the women. It was something in Senegal about the women going to the women. And
the women deal with the women and the men deal with the men.
Yeah, I think too it works opposites too, because a man can charm his way to calm a woman down into where she. He got
to talk right.
It's not what, it's how.
But was that a woman that you know or a woman you don't know?
It don't matter.
I don't know.
It don't matter. He got to talk right.
How many domestic disputes out in with dudes about to sock and have sock? And I've met a man when he was at that peak after he hit a girl like that and broke her jaw at the train station, and he was ready to give it to her again. I didn't hear the argument, but then when I went to him like, "Hey, homie, like chill out, man." You could tell he just wanted a hug. He's like, "Man, this bitch is cheap, man. You gotta go, man."
Well, that's
you gotta go. And he didn't. None of that was aimed towards me.
Yeah,
but,
right.
I mean, that you were the man dealing with the man.
Yeah,
but that's why I said I think that would be best practice for the men to deal with the men and the women to deal with the women. I
think a woman can soften up a man in that capacity.
A woman can soften up a man, but wasn't no woman gonna soften up that dude.
Not if you saying this nigga right here.
It was possible.
Come on, girl. Come on, sister queen. This nigga right here.
I'm gonna say
possible.
It's
more antagonism.
We don't know. We don't know. But it's possible though, for sure.
Because she could have said
that's gonna heighten the anger of a man.
I think that was
she could have catered to
what
his
would happen
ego.
If a woman tried to de-escalate that with that dude. I think that would have made it worse.
Nah, she could have catered to his ego.
I think the right type of woman.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
But how
you come and saying, sweetheart.
That's only from what we saw.
Listen, I didn't see you talk to a motherfucker.
I know, but listen, that's a roll of the dice. That's why I said I think best practice is the men deal with the men and the women deal with the women.
You said that's a roll of the dice?
It's a roll of the dice.
It takes a real motherfucking man to be gambling in this motherfucker, man. And I'm gambling. I'm a gambler. Look, because I'm for the people.
Hey, no, for real. Because in that moment, right? Imagine that moment. If you know he hiding, he like, damn, it's a chance that I can say something and he start flipping out on me.
Right.
Yeah, when you do that, I got to deal with. I got to be ready for those consequences too. So,
but would you
knowing that
goes back to what I was saying.
You enter the situation with the right mindset, because you done seen every play before you done enter yourself into it. So it's just like, I'm always prepared for every angle that's gonna come, and I know how to give it the right type of energy to where it doesn't escalate to that point.
And then even if he was, not to cut you off, Kay, even if he was to say, "Nigga, you shut up, I'm gonna hit you," say something else. Then you say, "Queen, just please." You ain't talking to him no more.
We can still water it down. We can still kill it with kindness.
Still kill that shit.
Agreed.
Other than that, we gonna be fighting in that motherfucking chicken joint, homie.
Because I'm for sure gonna say, I don't know
when it's cracking. When it comes in, real stuff.
So 5, what happens when he pulls out heat?
Shit, hey. If you for the people, you for the people. He got to do what he got to do. I'm crazy, so I'm walking to the gun. Nigga, pull. You pull. It is what it is.
Remember, we said everybody got a position to play. Everybody know. Clearly, he knows what his.
I know what my position is.
There you go.
Know who you are.
So in that situation, he's gonna go for the dude with the gun, and you're gonna go for the protection of the people.
Because
I think that works well.
I gotta make it back home.
Listen,
pull that card.
When that shit happened in the parking lot, my kids was in the car. They could have seen their dad get their head blown off. They seen their dad be a man. Because when I came back to the car, they was saying how you're a superhero, Dad. Oh my God.
I love that.
That's not why I did it though, but I'm not about to see this black man get beat up for one and shot. That's what I'm not gonna see.
Hey, word to the great. I'd rather die like a man than live like a coward.
Come on, man.
That's
is that Tupac?
Yeah. To where it's like, to where some of these ideologies, they might appear like crazy to some people, but we really got some values that we stand behind and that we have to stand
and that's
behind.
why you just
and those are just my personal principles that I live by.
That's why you just know who you are.
Yeah.
In the village everybody got a position to play. So just know what part of what position you play in the village. If your position in the village is my way of helping in the situation is to say, hey, y'all might want to leave while this other person addresses that actual interaction, that's cool. Everybody got a position to play. It's just unfortunate, again, with that underlying energy of fear in our community, where even some of the people who would probably intellectually think that they would play that position, they're not willing to budge.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem.
And that's okay for them. Because they don't need to be in my village.
It could have been people in that crack that just been like,
because it's gonna crack. And when it crack, because the thing about it is too, a lot of people gotta put their actions where their mouth is. If you really tired of seeing how your people is and how shit is going, there's gonna be examples that really test your action and test what you saying. Where it's like, and I don't like seeing that shit. I don't like seeing when a brother and a sisters get into it. I don't like seeing when two gang members. I don't like that shit. So I'm gonna do my part to diffuse the shit.
So this just popped into my head a few weeks ago. I seen a video. It looked like maybe like a crab restaurant, like a seafood restaurant or something. And there was some women in there and they was like arguing, looked like they was about to start fighting. That had to have been a church choir that was like at the restaurant too. And they was trying to like, a couple of people was telling like, hey, hold on y'all, hey, hold on. That whole side of the restaurant started singing songs. And that defused the situation. And they had it on video. Like they was
bigger than the atmosphere.
Clapping and shit, you know what I'm saying? And so now let me just take it one step further and
that's
say
tribal
this.
shit. That's us.
That's us. And so this is what I want to say and why I always talk to people about the idea of energy and spirituality. Sometimes you don't have to fully engage in a situation in order to change the energy. Remember that everything you experience is a energy that's happening. So that energy, that frequency can be broken up at any given time with something different. Right? So just like that church choir, they didn't engage that physical altercation. They just started changing the energy in the room. And that
led by spirit.
Add to it or take from it.
Change. You're either going to add to or take from it. Like Mac just said. When you see a situation like that, if you feel like I'm too afraid to engage because I don't want to get my ass whooped either, turn on some music. Start dancing around, whatever. Change the energy in the room because it doesn't always have to be a direct interjection in the energy for it to change.
You know what? Exactly what you're saying. I feel like that opens up the door of the conversation of what was really going on in this situation, which is the highlight of the spiritual warfare.
Yes.
Because dominantly we know that, the attack was against each other, but more than anything, the attacks were internal.
Yes.
It's that these individuals were dealing with things internally that didn't allow them to deal with the situation that thought for everybody else in the room.
Right.
And I feel like that knowing that we at that place in this world, I think that it's really, really big on us to, take a listen to what we was talking about during the first episode about the inner work that we got to do in order to make these things right here less possible and more possible as far as being an example of what to do and what not to do.
Because ladies,
prevention.
It's not taking anything from me or from you to disengage from a situation. And that's one thing that the quote unquote culture of I'm going to say the internet culture has really got people mixed up with what is deemed weak and what's deemed not weak. You know what I'm saying?
Like God, you say what he say? What takes more power, hitting somebody back or not hitting somebody back?
Right.
Exactly. We talk about the strength in that.
Now, make no mistake about it. Shanga's not sitting here saying that if somebody hit me, I won't change their life. I will.
For sure.
Okay. Let's be real. Let's be real clear about
you
that.
really could change somebody's life.
But what I am saying is, if it's a situation and it really ain't that serious, you're the more powerful person in the space when you disengage. It don't make you weak. If anything, the person who's emotionally out of control is showing their weakness. You ought not to join them. It don't make you.
Fellas, it's okay to walk away, man. 5 minutes of a skirmish can change your fucking life.
And you know what? Real quick. Let me say this too. I'm gonna give a real quick personal experience. I was working in a community where I walked around the community to visit my clients. At the time I was dating a dude, he was cheating with a lady. Her mom and her kids lived in that community too. Her kids used to taunt me, like her daughters, when I would be walking around. And I used to be really mad about it because I really wanted to fire they up. Like, for real. Like, okay, y'all doing all this talking. I didn't grow up with the talking. We throwing hands or we not. What's up? You know what I'm saying? But what I realized from that experience, what I said to myself was, now, what would happen if I went over there and fired her daughter up? They're going to go to the office, say, oh, your case manager was out here fighting, blah, 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 blah. Now, everything that I have worked for
your power
is now in jeopardy. I'm definitely losing my job. But now that's a mark on my record when I go to the next job and they call this job and they win.
You won the fight, but they won the
war. Right. And so
for
for me, I was like, oh, shoot. Because I told my dude, I'm like, I feel like a punk. Because they out here trying to punk me. But then I had to listen to myself and I asked myself, where did that even come from? Where did that come from, that dialogue in my head that me not engaging with somebody being foolish is me being a punk? And then I was like, that don't make sense.
Yeah, the greatest power is self-control.
The greatest power that you have is self-control.
Especially when you know what you're capable of.
That part.
When you know your power.
That part right there. And I know if I would have got into a fight right there, it wasn't going to end there.
Yeah, exactly.
My gorillas was coming through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So again, ladies, I say to you, as being women in our communities, we have a obligation to keep, it's innate in us. We are the nurturers. A part of you nurturing your community, your family, is utilizing that discernment that the Most High gave you and being able to say when it's important to disengage for the sake of my loved ones.
Yeah.
Because I could fight this dude, but what does that mean? That means my uncles, my brothers, my cousins, everybody's coming in here, and we don't know how it's gonna end.
Oh, we know how it's gonna end.
I mean,
when that first domino
fall,
fall,
how it's gonna end. We damn sure know that.
Yeah.
What you was gonna say, T? We know how it's gonna end.
Well, I mean, you kind of addressed some of it now, but because I was only gonna get back to.
You're welcome,
T. I was only gonna ask 5, similar to because what you said before about the parking lot thing, and I had brought up on the first episode. I think me and Kay we were talking about this, about like just knowing the situation, knowing the environment, and knowing where you at, like compared to where I grew up, and where y'all at. I'm like, I know, like when I would be going to Raider games or when I would just be walking around my neighborhood, I know based on where I'm at too, like somebody that I come across, I would be more likely to expect them to be strapped versus
possibilities.
And not only
on that though.
Today, well, I was gonna say
because
today
that's everywhere.
Now,
just because it don't look like.
But I was getting at that. The point is, nowadays you really don't know who is. But I'm saying, like, it's certain times when I went around certain cats that I was like, it's 7 of them and 3 of us. And that's
smart.
not, and I'm like, that's a smart decision. That's not me not being a man.
Yeah, I'm not,
smart.
and I'm not saying go to no Dodger game talking crazy to no Latinos.
I do it all the time.
See, he's
but
different.
I do it in a sports realm because I'm a Cardinals fan. I go in there talking. I make it entertaining.
I
make it entertaining.
He does it.
Until you meet that one dude with the shank that
No.
But I was speaking to your situation
in
in the parking lot before, in the sense of so like when I told you about the situation happening in Hollywood, my initial reaction was not to go and fight the dude with the gun. It was more so like me and the other cats there, we was kind of putting ourselves in the middle of us and the women, being like, hey, y'all get to the cars and just trying to get them out of the way to safety, not necessarily go and fight the dude.
Yeah, of course.
Y'all to say, hey, bro, put that gun away.
and bring attention. Oh, who, you?
Nah.
Bam.
All right, y'all. So again, we want to send love to the families that are affected by this, to the community that's affected by this. And I would just like to, one word, each person, if we could leave off on one word to kind of sum up a solution, what would that be?
Understanding.
Mm-hmm. Love.
Honor.
Training.
I would say compassion. Fuck understanding.
Okay.
Fuck
compassion.
Yes.
You understand?
Compassion.
Those don't go hand in hand.
Well, shit. Yeah.
Since you threw compassion, I'll take
like
love
compassion.
back and put value in.
Oh, we need love though, Mac.
I mean, but love comes with compassion.
It has to.
All right, cool. And my word would be discernment. Discernment. So, family, thank you for joining us today on such a very sensitive topic. T, tell them where they can find us at.
Man, they can find us at The Patio PolitiCz on all major platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You know where to find us. Shout out to the Legato Collection.
Yes, sir.
Rob Nigga.
I just want, there's one last little, just give me 10 seconds. No, it ain't no jab, man.
Okay.
It's all seriousness. We got to stop. We got to take the white hoods off and stop supporting white supremacy with us destroying our own people. And it starts with the camera and the phone. You guys, let's stop that shit. And let's put the fucking phone down and be able to show some love and compassion towards our fellow black people, man, and love each other. We have to, because now it's a circus and we're the act. We're the clowns in the circus.
Y'all done got it 2 times.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for real.
Facts.
And it's hurtful. It's sad. It's very emotional for me to see this because, you know, I expect more out of our people due to what we going through. But they don't need the hoods no more. They don't need the burning crosses because we do it to ourselves too much. And they sitting back allowing the shit to happen. They watching it and they're overly entertained. Overly entertained. So, man,
all right,
let's love on each other.
Y'all stay safe out here in these streets. Show some compassion. Sometimes people just need a hug.
Yeah, man.
Send that love energy their way.
And some
TD. It's the Patio PolitiCz, y'all.
There's
Catch us on the next episode. We out of here.